presented by Wayne Junior ROTC Cadets.
No doubt.
Carroll is traveling to Wayne. And this is a really intriguing matchup because Wayne is going to ground and pound you. They're probably going to win the time of possession in this game. And Carroll's going to have to take advantage of every offensive opportunity they have. I'm sure you got them as the favorites, but I like this game.
I do too. And, I have a Friday morning breakfast group of old guys that they're all washed up but still love their high school football. And we have a very cordial gambling ring, if you will, but there's no money exchange. It's only for food, only for breakfast because we like to eat our breakfast. And I think everybody but one guy took Carroll to cover. Swami has Carroll by 22. And after we went to press a couple nights ago, I tell you what, Jeff, the more I thought that might even be too high. Let's not forget 2 weeks ago, Wayne really outplayed Concordia. I mean, they lost on the scoreboard, I believe, by 11 points, but they outplayed the Cadets, did the Wayne Generals. Last week, I thought Concordia outplayed Carroll. And so this is a team, I think, that, like you said, wants to run the ball. They can play keep away. Defenses have kind of figured out what Carroll wants to do offensively to a certain degree. Now, granted, the good defenses, right? Dwenger, Homestead, Concordia. Is Wayne in that category? No, that would be unfair to say that they're in that category. But I do think they've got some playmakers. I think they've got some athletes. I worry about their back end in a game like this. But Coach Haydock's a great coach. He was ejected from last week's game. I've got it under pretty reliable source that I think he's going to play or coach this week. That's my understanding. I don't know that for certain, but that's my understanding. So that tells me that they got with the IHSAA or the officials and worked something out to suggest that maybe his ejection was not warranted. Again, I don't know all the details on that, but my understanding, he will coach in this contest. And that's a big deal, I think, for Wayne. This is a team, I think, that can make some noise in Class 4A. Their sectional, to me, is wide open, even though they only have one win. They've got athletes. They're built for November, right? Because they want to run the ball. I like this team. Even though they've got one win, it would not shock me at all if Wayne hung around tonight and made this a contest against Carroll.
So you see Huntington North is their first round opponent. They're 3-5. They don't play near the competition that Wayne does week in, week out. I really like what I saw here with the stat line of Mr. Christian Trimble, the sophomore QB. So we'll pull it up here. 6 of 10, 58 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's a good-looking QB rating, completing 60% of his passes. Trimble ran 2 times for 6 yards. So they got a QB change over there at Wayne.
Well, I think Aiden Meek might be dealing with an injury, is my understanding, and may not play again in this game. But again, this isn't a pass-happy offense. Make no mistake. I mean, they kind of throw everybody in the box and try to run it down your throat, play keep away, use the play clock till its very end. I expect a heavy dose of Chris Thomas, Lamar and Nelson, and Sean Collins for sure. Again, Carroll's defense, if they cannot stop Wayne consistently and get them into passing downs, and you know darn well Sherwood Haydock's going to go for it on his own 35, 30-yard line almost every time unless it's fourth and forever. So you've got to find a way to get the ball out of their hands and get it back to Jeff Becker. And who knows, maybe I'm misreading this. Maybe the Chargers blow their doors off of them. It's very, very possible with that prolific offense. Mason Englert's had a fantastic season, but he's been kind of quiet these last couple of weeks. And the Chargers offense has been kind of quiet these last few weeks. So it's an intriguing matchup. Who's got more to gain? Just are they resting people for the playoffs? All those questions you have to ask yourself. But I get the feeling Wayne wants to earn a little respect and maybe a little confidence too going into the postseason. Like, hey, if we can play with a 6A power like Carroll, or maybe even beat them, man, we can go a long way with this 1-7 record all the way through the state playoffs. And so I would not I would not discount what Coach Sherwood Haydock and the Generals could accomplish here in the weeks ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you. Definitely have to give the edge to Carroll. I mean, Jeffrey Becker's just going to find a way to get those wins like we saw last week. Hunter Mertz, the first player in the conference to 20 tackles in one game, 2 tackles for a loss. He's basically their goal line running back and pretty much their go-to guy when they need a running back outside of Jeff Becker.
Yeah, Hunter's a unique player. He does a little bit of everything for them. And again, he is kind of their goal line guy. He was last year too. He didn't have great stats necessarily, but he had a ton of touchdowns, and he's just, just a hard-nosed kid that makes plays on both sides of the ball. He'll be tough to replace next year because he's one of those guys that's not going to go wow you or go play Division I football somewhere, but he is a heck of a high school football player. And at a school like Carroll, where they don't play many guys both ways, they've got 2 of them. Reed Muncie in the trenches is another one that comes to mind. They're going to have a hard time replacing both those guys next year.
But one thing's for sure, and it's established, there's no real go-to running back over at Carroll. Jeffrey Becker can definitely get it done, and we'll hope that it's enough, I guess, going through the rest of the season. Now, they're going to travel to Warsaw for their first game, not next week, but the following week, as 6A and 5A will have a bye. I like them to beat Warsaw, especially with Jeff Becker, and we might have another sectional championship rematch if Homestead can get past Snyder.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. This is kind of a favorable matchup this week, Jeff, for Carroll, because they're going to see a similar type offense, certainly a similar approach with what Wayne wants to do compared to Warsaw in a couple weeks. So good preparation for this defense, good preparation for the offense. They're going to go no huddle, and they're going to try to maximize every snap offensively. So this is lining up nicely, I think, for Carroll in preparation for their Class 6A Sectional 3 opener against Warsaw. And then again, don't look too far ahead, of course, if you're a Carroll Charger or any of these teams, because Homestead appears to be looming there in the sectional championship.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wayne High School. SAC football here on SummitCitySports.com. I'm Thad Goff along with Balin Height. Brandon Porter is our camera operator for tonight. And this Carroll Chargers team has a chance to finish the regular season at 7-2. It's been a good season. Obviously, a couple of blemishes, for instance, against Dwenger and Homestead earlier this year. But all in all, it's been a good season for the Carroll Chargers.
Yeah, absolutely, Dad. And Carroll's offense has been one of the top offenses in the whole really Northwest Indiana area this season across all the conferences. A lot of high-powered passing plays through the air, and they can even run the ball when they're called upon. And for Wayne, it's been a season of kind of just getting back to that type of style that head coach Sherwood Haydock likes to play, that really ground and pound, wear you out, and try to take away some time off the clock, really control the game on the ground.
Now, this Wayne General team, they are coached by Sherwood Haydock, a longtime head coach who won a state championship back in his time as the head coach at Harding here in Fort Wayne. And, this is his first year as head coach, trying to help rebuild this Wayne program into the talent they used to see not too long ago. In fact, it was just 2 years ago when Wayne was 9-3. Coach Haydock trying to get him back to that kind of status.
Yeah, and the name that comes to mind when you talk about that Wayne team just a few years ago, Craig Young, he's at Ohio State now. So definitely some talent that can come through this school and some talent we've seen in the past. But for Sherwood Haydock, it's just more of a kind of a reacclimation of the SAC. It's a bit of a different conference than it was a few years ago when he was at Harding. So really just trying to find some comfort and trying to get some consistency here back inside this conference.
Harding, of course, was in the SAC back when Coach Haydock was coaching there, then went on to coach at Woodland after that. Now, we talked about the experience of Sherwood Haydock. Both of these head coaches are very experienced. Doug Dinan, he's in his 11th year as the head coach here at Carroll. He's won multiple sectional championships and also spent time on staff at Snyder under head coach Russ Isaacs. And in the times I've talked to him, he's got nothing but good words to say about that time on Snyder's staff.
Yeah, Coach Dinan learned a lot, obviously, as a coordinator and just working with that staff, and then now coming over to Carroll. And, I mean, it's night and day what he's been able to do for this Carroll program. You look at years past for Carroll, a 500 season was considered good. That's no more for Carroll. A 500 season, in some eyes now, as Carroll's progressed as a program, is considered almost a down year for the Chargers. Another coaching milestone for Coach Dinan tonight with a win tonight. He picks up career win number 80, so looking to pull out that one before the end of the regular season as well.
Well, on the offensive side of the ball, the strength for Carroll is primarily the passing game. They've had games where they've been able to run the ball fairly well. I've seen Hunter Mertz carry at a quality amount from some quality carries. Wayne, they've got plenty of quality running backs, including Chris Thomas, Sean Collins, and also Lamarion Nelson. He's shown plenty of talent as well. And Wayne, they ran the ball early and often last week against Homestead. But here come the Generals, led out onto the field right now, as they try to close off the regular season with a 2-7 record. They're 1-7 right now. Their only win thus far coming against Northrop earlier this season, and that's looking like a fairly decent win. That Northrop team, they've got a chance to go to 5-4 for the regular season, but got to be Dwinger to do that. But anyway, that's another story. This Wayne team looking for a marquee win to close out the regular season.
Yeah, they struggled a little bit coming into the season with the first two losses. Then obviously you mentioned the win against Northrop. Maybe thought this general program was turning the corner this season. Haven't been able to had that continued success that Coach Haydock, I'm sure, was looking forward to coming into this season. But 2 one-possession losses, so they've been in some close games, albeit losses, and then still a chance really to make some noise in that sectional. We talk about that 4A sectional they're going to be entering. They drew Huntington North, a team that's 3-5, so a couple more wins, but not used to the quality of talent and opponent that is played week in and week out here in the SAC. I like Wayne in that sectional. I think they still have a chance to take away the record regardless of everything, and this is a big game for them to try to prove that against Carroll.
Well, let's get a word in from some of our sponsors that allow us to come out and do the many games that we get to do here on SummitCitySports.com. Today's broadcast is brought to you by SummitCitySports.com. Follow us on Twitter at 260sports, like our Facebook page, Summit City Sports, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Kelly Automotive Group is Indiana's #1 automotive group with over 1,000 new vehicles and 500 pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Please visit DriveKelly.com. Simple, transparent, and reliable. Tom Steele Tire, has been servicing the Fort Wayne area for over 40 years. They will help you find the perfect tire for your vehicle and other auto repair services like brakes, wheel alignments, engine diagnostics, and more. Big Eyed Fish has been around the Northeast Indiana area for generations. Like their Facebook pages for updated promotions and enjoy the best fish in Fort Wayne in a family-friendly environment at Big Eyed Fish. You are invited to join ProFed Credit Union, where we get to know you to better serve you. Sign up online in 5 minutes or stop by a branch. Join ProFed today and start owning your financial future at profed.org. At Ottenwiller Contracting, we invest in our customers by providing peace of mind during the entire process from bid to build. Visit OttenwellerContracting.com. With that, we are just about ready to get things started. Carroll, they won the toss, and they have elected to receive. So we will see that Carroll offense on the field first and foremost, led by their starting quarterback, Jeff Becker. He is the second-rated, or I should say he has the second-highest passing yard total in the SAC, behind none other than Northside's Deuce Taylor. And now it was a kind of an interesting situation for Deuce. He won the starting job midway through the season last year. With Jeff Becker, he's been the starting quarterback ever since his sophomore year began. He's now a junior and just about to end his second consecutive regular season as a high school starting quarterback.
It's pretty incredible what he's been able to do as a starter, especially just as a junior this year. He can challenge anybody, doesn't matter the class as far as the stats go, but really look for this game to be a progression from Jeffrey Becker just because of last week's struggles. Only 9 completions against Concordia. That Concordia defense really had an answer for him and just made him really uncomfortable throughout that game offensively. Look for this to be an improvement game from him and a big step up for the Carroll offense.
Well, Hunter Mertz, Mason Englert, and Jamison Coverstone are back to return the kickoff for the Chargers. And there to kick the ball away is Daniel Urizar, the senior place kicker. Go ahead, Balin.
I was going to say, another thing to watch for these teams this week is just cleaning it up as far as penalties go. Both teams kind of plagued last week. Both sides of the ball, some issues with the officiating for both ends, whether that's just trying to get a flow of the game, just cleaning things up and playing a much cleaner game this week.
It was 2 weeks ago where Wayne was also bitten by penalties and turnovers in a game against Concordia, a very winnable game. But it was the Cadets who got the victory in the end, and they've got a chance to finish over 500 this year. We certainly hope that we can update you on that as the night goes on, but we are underway. A little onside kick, and it looks like Cade Dinan's got it.
Yeah, Carroll was ready
Check
for
that. That's not Dinan. That is actually number 43, Maxton Weard.
I like the idea from Wayne coming out, maybe just trying to surprise the Chargers. Definitely the underdog by most in tonight's game coming into it. Those are the type of plays you need to make, and you need to call up and really bring up anytime you come into a game as an underdog. Try to just throw that team off and make them uncomfortable. I like the play there. Obviously not the outcome that Wayne wanted, but I like the move and I like where the head's at there.
Now the downside is you give the ball to a incredibly talented offense in good field position.
Yeah, you said that. You said that perfectly, Thad. And look for Carroll to attack this three-man secondary and just really try to pick it apart.
Little pistol formation to start things out. And it looks like a pass. It will be a pass for Jeff Becker. He completes it out in the flat. That's Jamison Coverstone who breaks the tackle. Coverstone down the sideline. Defenders chasing him, and he gets out of bounds. A big play right away from Becker to Coverstone.
Coverstone has that size and that speed that if he evades that first tackle, look out, because once he finds space, he can really push it upfield like we saw there. And it's funny because Coverstone really statistically just the second best receiver on this Carroll team.
To the ground they go. This is Luke Carmody turning it upfield. He takes it across the 30-yard line, and a good gain on first down.
That's another area where Carroll wants to improve, too, is on the ground. They know if they want to be more of a complete offense as we get closer to the postseason, just a week away now, they really need to run it up on the ground.
They've got a couple of junior running backs, both Luke Carmody and Aiden Lazoff. You'll probably also see a little bit of Hunter Mertz in there at running back. He's a senior. He makes a lot of his hay, though, on the defensive side. Becker to the sideline, complete. That's Mason Englert inside the 15-yard line. A little shoestring tackle, but the Chargers are in the red zone.
Englert exploded this season early on offensively, just putting up crazy numbers through the air. Some teams started to key on him, really focus in on him. He struggled the last couple of weeks, but that's a good sign for Carroll, getting the ball in his hands early.
Operating from the pistol, it's Becker to throw. Out in the flat, that's complete, but a good open field tackle by Donnie Moore.
Good tackle there by Moore, but a really good catch by Coverstone. Had to kind of readjust and just grab it. I think he just got the hand under it as he was getting hit and falling to the ground to complete the pass.
Well, Becker gets the play from the sideline. Rolls out to the right, throws on the run, pass is caught, and lunging his way to the goal line is Dylan Floyd for the touchdown.
It's Floyd's second touchdown this season, and they like to line him up kind of in that tight end hybrid slot position. You saw him right there, and really wasn't even challenged, just had to throw the ball nose over the goal line for the score.
So the Chargers go up 6-0. Sebastian Lopez on to attempt the PAT, number 97. And this kick is up, and it is good. A 7-0 lead for the Carroll Chargers in the early going back after 48 seconds.
I choose to do whole body cryotherapy after practices, games, and training. It reduces inflammation in my muscles and allows me to move more agile throughout my profession. I became a believer in iCryo after my severe injury in college at Notre Dame, tore my ACL, and I was looking for ways to recover, ways to get back on the field. So I'm thankful for iCryo.
7-0, the Carroll Chargers lead the Generals of Wayne. And a drive that only took a minute and 23 seconds off the clock as Evan Jester gets set to kick it away for the Chargers. One of the returners back there for Wayne is Tyzel Thomas. And he kicks it deep. It'll go to the other side of the field, and it is taken from about the 3-yard line. And that's Justin Alexander, who's wrestled down across the 21-yard line, and fairly decent field position for Wayne.
Good return there from Alexander, just cutting it up the middle, trying to find a gap. Not a bad return. Wayne will get some decent field position, but this will be the first time this Carroll defense is going to see the Wayne offense tonight and really look for them to put it on the ground. Chris Thomas is one of the more underrated runners in the SAC.
Well, one of the pieces of good news for the Generals is they do get their starting quarterback back this week. Aiden Meek was out a week ago, but he is back in the lineup again this week. Christian Trimble got the start in his place. Generals did put some good drives together, but then Evan Ormsby started to tear up the defense. He threw 5 touchdown passes, and Homestead, they're trying to close out an SAC title. We have, I think it was a clock issue, if I'm not mistaken. I beg your pardon, is a uniform issue.
A little equipment malfunction there, I think.
And they'll start out on the ground here on first down, and Carroll is all over that one. And I believe the first man to get to him was big Reeve Muncie. Or check that, no, that's number 52, Mark Murray.
That front four for Carroll has really evolved this season.
Well, there's Muncie, number 55. He's a big guy, plays offensive and defensive line. He's also a wrestler at Carroll High School. This Wayne team likes to run the football. Looked like Carroll was ready for that. I believe that's Chris Thomas in the backfield for the Generals. He's gotten the start on a frequent basis this year. He is the leading rusher for Wayne, and he gets the call here off the right side. Thomas trying to get free, and he's wrestled down.
Good little burst of speed there from Thomas, but that left side, or right side rather, if you're looking upfield, is going to be tough to attack for Wayne when you've got to stare down Hunter Mertz and Tucker Steely.
And speaking of the name Steely, there was another Steely in on that tackle, Braden Steely, number 40 for the Chargers.
Braden coming in as a freshman, much like his older brother Tucker, seeing significant playing time in their underclassmen years.
Meek will go under center here on 3rd down and 9. And here's Meek to throw. He goes with the screen to the far side. That's Donnie Moore, sidesteps a man, but does not get the first down.
It's a good stop by the Carroll secondary. They've had trouble wrapping guys up in the second level all season long. And I like the idea from Wayne there, trying to reverse the field after 2 runs to the right side, go left side maybe, but not enough room there to convert on the first.
Jorge Valdez and Aaron Stewart combined to make the tackle. And it looks like Jamari Tabb is going to punt it away for Wayne. And Carroll stands to get very good field position out of this as Wayne has a guy getting laid out onto the field. That's Lamarion Nelson.
Got to be careful for Wayne here. Mason Englert, very dangerous from the returning position.
It's a low punt. Returnable, though, and Englert comes up with it, sidesteps one man, and then goes down across the 47-yard line, and he'll take the field position right there.
Good job on the coverage team for Wayne, really eliminating anything Englert could do. Low line drive kick. Didn't get too much after the reception.
8:09 to go, and on that first drive, I don't believe Becker threw any incompletions. He was 100% that previous drive.
And that's a good start for Becker. We mentioned against Concordia, just the 9 completions the entire game. The Cadets really made him uncomfortable. Obviously, that secondary for Concordia, very strong.
Carmody gets the call on first down, and a good gain on first down. He wasn't quite down yet. He reached that ball out. He was laying on top of Tyzel Thomas, but now they mark him down at the 49-yard line.
It's fun to watch Luke Carmody run just because of the way he follows his blocks, really following the big guys up front.
And now whistles blow. It's a timeout. And it looks like it's a helmet issue there. Jamari Tabb having his helmet adjusted. He'll have to come off the field and bring a sub in for him, and that sub will be Kalon Kelsaw.
It's the second time Tabb's had to come off the field with a helmet issue. I'm not sure what's going on. Looks like they're working on that cage maybe.
It's going to be 2nd and 6 after the penalty, or excuse me, after the helmet issue, I beg your pardon. 3 down linemen for the Generals. Here's Becker to throw. Goes right down the seam, and it's complete. Big hit on the back end, but Bowden Height makes the catch, And he took a lick at the end from Avant Rogers.
Wayne's got to be careful because Carroll is going to continue to take shots downfield, especially if you allow Becker to have that much time in the pocket. I mean, he really had all day to line that one up, and nice job of attacking the middle.
Bowden Height, a senior wide receiver. Hey, that last name sounds familiar.
Just a little bit.
Becker looks to throw across the middle, complete. That's Height again down to the 10-yard line.
It was really comfortable for Carroll the last play. They said, why not go right back to it? That middle of the field is wide open. Wayne just running that three-man back secondary with the two corners and a safety in the middle.
Out of the shotgun goes Becker. And he will hand it off to Luke Carmody. Tries to take it wide toward the pylon. Did he get in? It doesn't look like it. Thought he got the ball over the pylon, but the officials say no. Going to be second down and second and goal from about the 2. And straight ahead they go with Becker. Push back near the goal line, and he did not get in.
I'm not sure who got a hand on Becker there. I couldn't get the number, but nice job by Wayne defensively. Becker looked like he all but had it, and then somebody reached their arm over and just kind of held him back.
He's going to go under center here. And Becker trying to push the pile, pounds his way in for the touchdown. He lowered the boom on Donnie Moore.
I was not expecting that from Becker. Had to kind of reshuffle from the line after not getting that initial push, but he used all of that 6 foot, 185 frame to blast through the end zone there.
That'd make a guy like Drew Brees proud. He's about, I think, 5'9", 5'10" in that range somewhere. But here's Sebastian Lopez for the PAT. And he knocks it through, and the Chargers are on top 14-0. Well, we'll be right back in 30 seconds here on SummitCitySports.com.
Empowered Sports Club, Fort Wayne's premier multi-sport facility and home to Empowered Volleyball Academy. With the deepest and most experienced coaching staff in the region, we've had a 100% college recruiting success rate for the last 6 years. Be sure to register for upcoming tryouts at our regular location and our new satellite program, Empowered OBC. If you're looking for a place where you can not only play volleyball, but call home, look no further than Empowered.
Welcome back, everybody. We are at Wayne High School, a 14-0 lead for the Chargers of Carroll. As the Generals try to look for an answer, they went 3 and out on their last possession. The games that I've done from Wayne, the objective seems to be to establish the run early on, and they've got multiple backs who can carry the rock. Evan Jester to kick it away. It's a squib kick, returnable but muffed, and then picked back up, I think, or is it still loose? Wayne's got it back. Well, there's a lot going on that kickoff, but the Generals come away with it.
I think that was Moon who might have got a hold of that ball, but wasn't expecting that one with the squib right there. And Carroll kind of giving Wayne a little bit of what they saw in the first kickoff.
Wayne kicked it onside on the opening kickoff, and Carroll ended up starting that drive from their own 47-yard line. Started right about the same spot the next drive.
I know we talk about establishing the run with this Wayne offense, but when you're down 14 points after 2 consecutive drives where Carroll really just cut up the defense, got to wonder if you start taking some shots here.
Whistles will blow this play dead, and it's going to be, I think, a false start. Yep. That'll back up the Generals 5 yards on this first play from scrimmage. That's 6:40 to go here at Wayne High School.
Their first penalty, we mentioned both teams struggled last week with really cleaning it up. As far as the laundry on the field, you want to kind of cut down on those mistakes, especially as we get closer to the postseason.
Carroll had a big come-from-behind win against Concordia a week ago. They were down 14-3 at one point in that game. Meek looks to throw, goes for the slant. That's complete to Christian Flanagan, and he gets back the yardage lost on the penalty.
Flanagan's a big body at 6'5" that Wayne likes to use out in the open. 3 catches last week for 29 yards, and the big one, 2 touchdowns.
Well, if by any chance Byron Pickens is watching this game, he knows Christian Flanagan well. Flanagan plays for Pickens on the Wayne Generals boys basketball team. Pickens also does a lot of AAU coaching with the Indy Heat, and they go straight up the middle here with Thomas. And Thomas going to be close to the 45-yard line, still short of the first down, but it will be a short third down situation coming up.
Depending on what you get on this third down here, if you don't convert, I wonder if it's 4-down territory for Wayne. I know they're already down 14 points, but you saw the onside kick early, not afraid to give Carroll the ball in a short field. Might want to think about it here.
And even with the recent coaching change, Wayne still does put the quarterback under center quite a bit. They did that when Derek Moore was the head coach here not long ago. They go straight to the ground. Fumble on the exchange. Carroll says they've got it. The official says it's 4th down, though. Wayne got it back.
Not sure how Wayne was able to recover that one. Carroll was in on it quick. It was on that exchange you mentioned, Thad. Liam Ottweiler getting a hand on there for the recovery.
Offense is still out there. Well, Balin, you called this earlier. It might be 4-down territory. It looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th down. 4th and 3 to be exact.
Those little miscues are what needs cut down on before sectional play.
Here's Meek to throw. Takes a shot downfield, one-on-one, looking for Flanagan. Incomplete. Flanagan had the inside position on Stewart, but could not haul it in.
Kind of an awkward look. Flanagan had to kind of go back over his shoulder to chase after that one. I like the look play call-wise from Wayne there, but at the same time, just one receiver out in formation makes it pretty easy for that secondary to key in on the receiver and Flanagan.
And Stewart was able to stay with him, but Flanagan did have the inside position on him. But Carroll will now line up in plus territory. I remember when I did Carroll's game against Lures not far from here. They had the ball frequently in plus territory. Becker goes out in the flat to Coverstone. Coverstone turns it upfield and gets a good gain on first down. He's out of bounds about a yard, maybe 2 short of the first down.
Coverstone, one of those big yak guys, yards after catch. It's a big-time skill, especially at the high school level, to stay elusive.
Becker going to keep it on the zone read, tries to sidestep a man, but goes down, and he's short of the first down. I think he even lost a couple of yards on that play.
Good job by the Wayne defense of making the read on Becker as he kept that one. And that's something that Becker has shied away from this season, hasn't had to rely on his legs as much compared to last year. 84 carries for Becker, 463 yards on the ground, and 6 touchdowns. A lot of those touchdowns coming in QB sneak situations at the goal line.
Well, here they are on 3rd and 3. Becker to throw. Dumps it off in the flat. And a tackle short of the first down made by the Generals. That was number 24, Landon Perry, who made the tackle on Carmody.
Carmody slipped out of the backfield there, kind of uncovered. Good job by Perry, picking up 13th tackle of the season, right out in the open.
Well, it's 4th and 1 from Wayne's 35-yard line, and it looks like the Chargers are going for it.
Comes that T formation that Carroll likes to run.
They brought in Hunter Mertz to line him up behind Becker. He's a big guy who's also a linebacker. It's Becker on the keeper. He's got it. He didn't hardly have any blocks out in front of him, but it didn't matter.
Kind of followed the backers in, and it almost looked like Becker was going to easily pick it up. He kind of just sat back a second. That one maybe a little closer than it initially looked off the line.
So the Chargers convert on 4th down. And the drive continues on what was nearly a 3-and-out. Here's Becker on the rollout, and that's complete. Oh, nice move to the inside. Mason Englert down to the 8-yard line, and it's 1st and goal for Carroll.
Too much space there for those Carroll receivers out wide. 3 guys. I think one of them only covered off the jump. You've got to be closer.
Well, we did have a whistle there.
Not sure if it was maybe a substitution.
Sideline warning.
There it is, yep. We saw a little bit of that last week, Thad. Made some news around the SAC.
We certainly did. It happened right here in this stadium. That was Dylan Floyd who came out onto the field. He had a touchdown earlier in the game.
Lined up a tight end on the left side.
Here's Carmody, takes it up the middle and fights his way down to the 5-yard line. That'll go for a 3-yard gain. There on the tackle was Michael Govan.
We talked about the tight end for Carroll, not something that they've traditionally gone with, but I do like the look it gives them, putting guys like Dylan Floyd out there. Last year was Eddie Bransfield, who is now playing at St. Francis.
And they go with the jet sweep. No, they don't. It's a handoff and a touchdown.
How about that? Number 54, Kyler Bills with the fake. Big man touchdown. Give it to him.
How about that to help pad the Chargers' lead? 20-0. Kyler Bills. I'd have to guess that's his first touchdown of the year.
I would say so, too. Kyler, a wrestler by trade. That is one of the better-looking plays you're going to see for a big man on the offensive line. How about that for Carroll?
Sebastian Lopez on for the PAT, and he puts it through.
Give a little love to Lopez here real quick before the break. 25 for 25 for Sebastian Lopez on the PAT. That's a more underrated aspect of the high school game.
Well, we'll keep it right here with you this time. 2 touchdown passes for Jeff Becker so far, and he doesn't throw the touchdown pass here, but he's had a great performance so far, and kind of a little bit of a bounce-back performance. Even though his team got the win last week, he went 9 for 20 in that game against Concordia.
Yeah, and that Concordia secondary doesn't mess around. One of the better secondaries in the area. But good look for Becker here in the Carroll offense, really, as they head into sectional play, as he has had no problem tonight. I don't know if he's had an incompletion tonight, Thad.
I don't think he has, if I'm not mistaken.
Carroll still chasing that first SAC title, fell short this year, and then looking for their next sectional title since 2014.
Always going to be challenges competing in the SAC, and well, again, if Homestead wins tonight, it will be their second consecutive SAC title. All they have to do is win, and they win the title. They would get the tiebreaker over Bishop Dwenger, as Evan Jester is set to put it away.
Spartans getting Southside tonight.
All muffed on the kickoff, but picked back up. They get it back across the 15, and there's room to run. Justin Alexander down the sideline. Takes it out at the 45-yard line in Carroll territory.
Maybe a little momentum now here for Wayne. That Carroll coverage team ran past Alexander, wasn't even anywhere near him, and he shot up the gap. I think that was Braden Steely who almost made the whole run back with them, just enough to push him out of bounds.
So they get it to the 45-yard line. Great field position for the Wayne Generals as they trail 21-0, looking for a spark.
I believe this will be the first try for Wayne in Carroll territory tonight offensively, so we'll see what they can do.
Aiden Meek will go under center. The handoff off the right side and a good tackle in the backfield. Big number 64, Ethan Klingler.
Yeah, Wayne wasn't fooling Carroll there. 3 wide receivers out in formation. Not a look they've given them offensively very many times tonight, but Carroll was ready for the run there.
It'll be 2nd down and 12 after the negative play. We've got 2:16 and counting left to go here in this first quarter.
Now Wayne loading that right side. See if they go off the left.
Off the left side with Collins. Gets back one of the yards lost, and I think that's about it. Klingler in on the tackle again. And it's going to be 3rd and 11. We are inside 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter.
Kind of crazy how fast the Chargers can put up points, and it makes it feel like the game could be closer to halftime. Really, we haven't even gotten through one quarter yet.
Here's Meek, goes for the slant, complete. And that's Cam Tolles with a reception, takes it across the 40-yard line, but short of the first down.
Another fourth down situation where Wayne feels comfortable going for it here in plus territory. Able to pick up some space there with Carroll just kind of playing back in coverage.
It's going to be 4th and 4. They mark the ball at the 39-yard line, just inside it. And Meek looks to throw. Goes to the sideline, and the pass is caught. Christian Flanagan with the reception, and the Generals move the chains.
Flanagan doing the heavy lifting through the air for Wayne right now. Just using all that 6'5 frame. Carroll really has no answer in the secondary to match up with that size.
6'5 frame could play in very well when basketball season comes around. We're just about a month and a half away, at least from boys basketball season. Girls basketball season is, I believe, set to get started early November. Off the left side with Chris Thomas. Gets inside the 30. Thomas with room to run. First down out to the 20-yard line, and the Generals have it in the red zone for the first time tonight.
Wayne starting to move to that left side, throwing some different looks in their protection. Thomas will trot off and get a break here. Now Sean Collins in the backfield. Something to watch here how Wayne wants to play this. Loading that right side once again.
Collins definitely a capable runner. Thomas came in as the leading rusher for the Generals. Collins not too far behind him, though. And they toss it to Collins. Could not break free. He's brought down in the backfield by Tucker Steely.
Nice job of Steely getting into the backfield right there and just getting the arm around Collins to slow him down before that Carroll front line making the stop.
And that's going to be the end of the first quarter. So with that, it is a 21-0 lead for the Chargers. We'll be right back after this quick break here on SummitCitySports.com.
This is an invitation to join a movement propelled by people who care and members who have a share in the place they bank.
Good morning, Sam.
So when you have the chance to get your first home loan, you know an expert will guide you every step of the way. Or when it's time to buy your new car, you'll be treated like more than just a credit score.
Good news, ProFed can get you that payment.
This is an invitation to a place where simply belonging can help enrich your whole community. ProFed Credit Union. You're invited.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Start of the second quarter here at Wayne High School. The Generals are driving, though they are down 21-0. We do have some scores from around the area. For instance, Homestead leads Southside 7-0, and Dwenger also leads Northrop 7-0.
Quick update from the NE8 there as well. A little bit of an unexpected score. Columbia City up 14-0 on Norwell early.
Here's Aiden Meek looking to throw, sets up the screen, and that's complete. That's Collins out of the backfield, and Collins takes it down to about the 13-yard line. A good gain on first down.
Maybe a flag there at the line of scrimmage. I can't quite tell. A couple of Wayne offensive linemen in the way. Now the officials getting together.
I think the signal might be holding. Nope, no foul on the play.
So they're going to wave it off. Wayne has found something they like offensively, using that screen, throwing the backs out of the backfield, and just trying to load one side and move that Carroll defense to the other. Carroll struggled a little bit with some screen plays last week against Concordia as well. They had some success early in that first half, able to build that lead before Carroll eventually came back.
So it's going to be third down and short here for the Generals. It's like third about 4.
Loading the line up front. That's Collins out to the right in formation.
They've got Thomas in the backfield behind Aiden Meek. And they'll hand it up straight ahead. And it looks like Wayne has got the first down across the 10-yard line. We'll see who that was in a second. Might have been Govan.
So I believe it was Michael Govan, number 48. Initially, I thought it was 40. There was no 40 on the roster, so closest one would be Govan. He's lining up in that same spot once again.
This is going to be 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. Big third down conversion for the Generals. Handoff goes to Thomas, and he stumbles out to about the 5.
Carroll fortunate there. Thomas stumbling at the line. Had some space to break through. This is where Wayne's offense is much more comfortable. Carroll's made them work for sure, but just controlling the time of possession, keeping the ball on the ground, and then mixing in a throw every now and then to keep the defense true.
2nd down and goal from the 6. And a straight handoff. I believe that's Govan again. And that looked like Muncie, who was first to get there. Yep, there he is. Big number 55, Reeve Muncie.
Good job by Muncie there, sniffing that one out.
He's a 6'4", 280-pound defensive and offensive lineman. As I mentioned earlier, he's also on the wrestling team, which this past year was coached by Dan Briggs. Briggs was in his first year as the head coach, although he had been on staff before that. Meek lofts it to the corner. 1-on-1. Caught! Or is he out of bounds? Flanagan says it's a touchdown, and the officials agree.
Flanagan, I think, able to sneak his back foot in just with enough space. He's made some good catches tonight, but that one by far the best.
Well, they go right up top there to the 6'5" wide receiver in the one-on-one matchup, and the Generals are now on the scoreboard.
So Flanagan picked up his first 2 touchdowns of the season last week, make it the 3rd. So touchdowns for him in consecutive weeks.
Well, the Generals went for 2 after their only touchdown last week, which had they kicked it would have tied the game, but they're going to kick it here. I believe that's Jamari Tab on to kick. And that looked like movement.
Got pointing fingers here. We'll see who jumped first.
There's a lot of movement. Now the officials trying to sort it out as well.
Interesting to see Wayne going for the kick here. As far as Max Prepska is concerned, they haven't attempted a PAT all season long.
It is going to be a false start against the Generals.
So now this might change the way they attack this one.
Christian Trimble is the holder. And I beg your pardon, that's not number 9, it's number 91, Daniel Urizar. Jamari Tab is number 9, Daniel Urizar is 91. High snap, and that one gets away. It's picked up by Trimble, running around. He gets it away, and it's incomplete. Oh, Christian Trimble was the starting quarterback for last week's game against Homestead, and he almost put some of that quarterback experience to good use there, but it goes incomplete, and it's 21-6.
Might be why we haven't seen Wayne commit to a kick on a PAT opportunity. That snap was nowhere close to Trimble.
Well, we'll be right back after this. 30 seconds on SummitCitySports.com.
There are tons of benefits to using compression therapy, but my favorite are speeding up muscle recovery, reducing swelling and inflammation, and improving my athletic performance.
Well, Wayne gets on the board, but a bad snap on the PAT makes it 21-6 as opposed to 21-7. Carroll has scored all 3 times they've had the ball. And I believe on that drive, Wayne picked up their first down. They'll go with the onside kick again, and that one, I believe, was recovered. It was. That's number 23, Anderson Wallakiba. So the Chargers will take over again with good field position. Going to mark it at the 44.
2 onside kicks for Wayne, trying to steal another possession there.
Had another update moments ago. Dwenger was up 14-0 over over Northrop when we last heard. They played Northside in week 2.
Speaking of Dwenger and Northside, I'm excited for the potential rematch we might see in that sectional.
Those two teams are in the same class, Class 5A. I believe they played each other last year in the 5A playoffs. Dwenger, of course, got all the way to semi-state before being ousted by Valparaiso. Carroll got past Snyder in the first round of sectionals, but then they ran into Homestead in the second round. They set up the screen, and that's incomplete, looking for Bowden Height, and I think that was Becker's first incompletion of the game.
I was getting ready to say the first incompletion for Becker, and that was really not the best ball, I guess you could say, he's thrown tonight. And if that's your one incompletion through a good portion of the second quarter, about 3 minutes in the second quarter, I think you're okay with that if the Carroll offense.
Second down and 10 after the incompletion. They've had some good run plays from Luke Carmody. It hasn't really been a run-heavy offense, but Carroll has been able to mix that into the play calling. And here is Carmody off the left side, gets a hole and gets a first down and more. Still pounding his way out toward the 40-yard line until he gets driven back.
I think I mentioned it with Carmody. The coolest thing to watch with him is when he runs the ball is how he follows that front line. That time taking Big 62 Max Malcolm all the way for the first down. Carroll wants to work quick.
Three wide receivers to the bottom of the screen, and we get a whistle. Perhaps an official's timeout.
Another equipment malfunction potentially.
Yeah, that's Kalen Kelsaw walking off the field, and Tab will come in for him.
Maybe Kelsaw just a little winded on that one as well. Maybe fortunate for Wayne there to get the timeout as Carroll's offense was looking to work.
Here's Becker rolling to the right. Throws on the run, and going down to get it is Jamison Coverstone. Or did they rule it incomplete? It looked like a catch at first.
I think they ruled it incomplete, and that's a heads-up play there by Coverstone, at least from our point of view, and probably the official right there on the sideline, just trying to cover it up to make it look like maybe he pulled that one off the ground. Would have been a tough play to make for him.
9:29 to go here in the second quarter. And it's Becker on the keeper, and did he just lose his footing there? He goes down, and now a flag comes in. He took a hit there at the end of that play, and now there's some extracurriculars, it looks like.
Yeah, this is not what you want to see in the last week of football. Becker hit the ground, might have just slipped. Fortunately for Carroll, looks like he's up and okay. And then a Wayne defender came in at the end and went right for the head. It's a dangerous play that you never want to see at any level, but especially at the high school level.
Well, the officials will discuss it. We'll get a look at this here on the Traction AP replay. Becker did take a shot there at the end. He went down. Now, the player that landed on him, that was number 65, Julian Keeler. When he landed on him, I don't think that's what drew the flag, but there was an extra push at the end.
Looks like we've got 5 flags out on the field. Not something you see. Every official might have been able to pull that. And then Carroll trying to push back a little bit as emotions running high, and I think both teams just kind of changing out for some contact after the whistle.
Yeah, right now the officials are sorting this out.
A lot of flags to pick up and a lot of numbers to get straight.
The extra push after the hit, I would think, would draw at least one penalty here. So now we'll get the call. Well, if you could read his lips, it was a dead ball foul, personal foul on the Generals, followed by another dead ball personal foul. So it's back-to-back penalties on the Generals, all in one play, and it's an automatic first down for the Chargers.
I believe that's the targeting motion, correct, Dad? Was that what?
No, the targeting motion is hand to the head.
Because we saw one of those last week in the Carroll game on the offensive team against the defensive players, and you don't see it too much. Starting to implement that a little bit more in the high school level.
I think that's Peter Hood who's racing down the sideline there from Channel 55. But meanwhile, Becker and the Chargers have it in good field position. That was going to be 3rd and long had it not been for the penalties. But now the Chargers have a red zone possession.
See if Carroll finishes on the ground here.
Here is Carmody off the right side, has some blockers, lunges his way inside the 5. A good gain there on first down. He gets to about the 4. Got to say, I've been very impressed by Luke Carmody and the way he's toted the rock so far tonight.
5'9", 155-pound junior coming in tonight with 59 carries, 423 yards, looking to eclipse 500 yards tonight. He's well on his way in doing that.
Carmody gets the call. There's a flag down. Check that. That's Becker on the keeper. He spins into the end zone. We will wait on the penalty.
Looks like it's going to be on the Chargers. It will be.
Illegal substitution. So the touchdown will stand for Jeff Becker.
Thought the official there initially ruling towards the Chargers as they were communicating that to the Carroll sideline.
We'll get another look at the replay as soon as this extra point is kicked. Sebastian Lopez on to attempt it. Whistles blow, and a flag comes in. We'll back up the Chargers 5 yards on this point after attempt. .8:45 left to go in this first half as the Chargers try to make it a 28-6 game. Well, we had a penalty on Wayne's extra point attempt when they scored the touchdown with Christian Flanagan. And they missed the point after try. Actually didn't get to attempt it because of a bad snap. This one will be attempted, and Lopez puts it through. 28-6, and we'll go ahead and show you that touchdown that Jeff Becker scored. He's thrown for 2 in this one. This time a good fake, and also give a lot of credit to number 62, Max Malcolm, for that block he threw to help spring him free.
Malcolm's made a couple of nice blocks tonight, especially in the red zone there.
Again, when we last heard, Dwenger was up on Northrop 14-0.
Snyder up 7 over Lures. That's at Bishop Lures. Check that. That's at Spooler Stadium. Panthers home in that one.
Yeah, Snyder, they're trying to finish the regular season over 500. And, of course, that's a program that has been playing high school football for 56 years. They've won a couple of state championships. Of course, Wayne High School has also won a state championship. That was back in 1995, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct that one posted right as we're walking up into the press box here at Wayne Stadium.
Evan Jester to kick it away for the Chargers. A low-line drive kick. It is returnable, and it is returned. Donnie Moore on the return, and a flag comes in. He's out across the 25-yard line, but we'll check on the penalty and see where this gets marked off to.
Also got a player down for the Chargers.
We do indeed, and that is Dylan Bennett. Looks like they got him off the field, though, so that's the good news. It's an illegal block in the back against Wayne.
Yeah, good for Bennett there. As he initially might have looked like it could have been something serious, but he jumped back up pretty quick just to get off the sideline. Take away all the COVID situational issues where players could be missing some time. That is something you cannot afford either. As sectional play starts next week, are injuries. Both teams trying to come out of tonight healthy. As far as the conference goes, not much on the line for either side.
Of course, Carroll will be in the same sectional as Snyder, Homestead, and Warsaw. They're part of Class 6A. I believe they're slated to play Warsaw in their first game, but I think 6A has next week off. Here's the screen to the near side, and plenty of room down the sideline for Collins. Sean Collins headed to the house. One man behind him. He won't catch him. The penalty proves moot, as Sean Collins takes it all the way to the end zone.
Wayne's looked good through the air tonight, whether it's been Flanagan, now Collins. They set up that screen, just a quick pick, little block on the left side. I missed who got the block initially, but gave Collins all the space, and you cannot let Sean Collins get out in the open.
I believe it was an 83-yard catch and run on that screen play. Great blocking out in front for Collins. It's a one-play drive. And now Wayne with a chance to get right back in this game. Now here's the PAT just about to take place. Or it looks like they're going for two, actually. Yeah, Meek and Thomas are both out on the field.
Not a surprise here after the snap over that on the last PAT attempt for Wayne.
Meek stands in the shotgun. He looks to throw. Buys some time, goes out in the flat, has a man there, but it's too strong in the direction of Cameron Tolles. Aaron Stewart had the coverage. And Carroll will get the ball back, still with the lead, but Wayne does cut into the deficit just a little bit here. You'll see just a portion of this again on the Traction AP replay. Collins really got just one block, and that was all he needed. From that point on, he was off and running. And it's an 83-yard touchdown pass for Aiden Meek. And Sean Collins gets credit for the biggest play of this game, as far as yardage goes at least. Daniel Urizar will kick it off for the Generals.
Yeah, that play through the air alone, almost matching the average yards through the air for Wayne in a game all season. So coming into today, 85 yards through the air compared to the 219. They like to pound it on the ground, but looked good in their few throws tonight.
Hunter Mertz is back to return it, along with Mason Englert and Tucker Steele.
So officially 84-yard touchdown for Collins there. We'll give him that extra yard.
And Urizar with a squib kick, and eventually it's fallen on by the Chargers. Liam Ottenweller was the one who fell on top of it. Big defensive lineman. I believe he's the younger brother of Matt Ottenweller, who was a linebacker for Carroll. Graduated just this past spring.
You'd be correct there, Thad. Pretty good players on the defensive side of the ball, the Ottenwellers are.
Yeah, Matt Ottenweller was one of the top pass rushers for the Chargers a year ago. He and Larry Seibel, of course, both graduated. And right now it's Carroll with the 28-12 lead, although Wayne still very much in this thing.
Carroll wants to keep it going and move it through the air. Would not be surprised to see if they focus in on Mason Englert here. Just the one catch tonight. He's lined up to the right side, bottom of your screen.
Handoff goes to Carmody off the left side. He's got plenty of room. A block out in front as well. Carmody gets the first down. I said he had plenty of room. There are actually quite a few blue shirts over there, but Carmody does move the chains.
I know I mentioned Englert, but hey, if it's working on the ground, why not keep working it?
Heck of a game Carmody has had. The snap to Becker. He will throw. Going to take a shot downfield. Has Englert one-on-one, and the catch is made. Englert down to the goal line. Touchdown.
And that's the power of Mason Englert when he gets alone, especially down the middle, just slipping both the defenders. That ball put perfectly, and just enough for Englert to get it over into the end zone.
Well, after Wayne scored on a one-play drive, Carroll scores on a two-play drive as Jeff Becker, who had missed on his last two completions, didn't miss on that one. His last two passes, I should say.
So I mentioned look for Englert to get more opportunities offensively, and they just waited two plays for that one. That's all they needed to score.
Here is Sebastian Lopez on for the PAT. 34-12 your score with 8:09 to go, and Lopez knocks it through. So 35-12 in favor of the Chargers. We'll go ahead and get a word in from some of our other sponsors that allow us to come out and do these games. Just a couple other sponsors that allow us to come out and do these games. Summit Volleyball trains and builds the highest quality volleyball players in the area. From ages 5 to 18, our players are equipped with elite level skills and a foundation of life skills. Jump on board. Together, we can reach the summit. Well, the Carroll Chargers with a 35-12 lead over the Wayne Generals. Jeff Becker has 3 touchdown passes tonight. The last one came on what was just a 2-play drive that spanned 64 yards. The touchdown pass went for 49. Here's Evan Jester to kick it away for Carroll.
Quick score update latest from Northside and Concordia. The Legends up 7 over the Cadets.
That's a squib kick, still loose. Did the Generals get it? Looks like they did at about the 30-yard line. And one more look at this touchdown thrown by Jeff Becker. First of all, excellent protection by the offensive line, and Becker got the ball out in no time. And Englert, there's the reach for the goal line. It definitely looked like he got it across before he went down. And again, I'll point this out as I do often. Every play at the high school level is a judgment call. You don't have the benefit of going to instant replay and being able to take a second look at it as an official. Well, here's a timeout called by the Generals, and while they take a timeout, we'll take one as well. Back in 30 seconds on Summit City Sports.
Empowered Sports Club, Fort Wayne's premier multi-sport facility and home to Empowered Volleyball Academy. With the deepest and most experienced coaching staff in the region, we have had a 100% college recruiting success rate for the last 6 years. Be sure to register for upcoming tryouts at our regular location and our new satellite program, Empowered OBC. If you're looking for a place where you can not only play volleyball, but call home, look no further than Empowered.
35-12, Carroll with the lead over Wayne as we come out of the timeout. The Generals, start this drive from their own 30-yard line. Jeff Becker has thrown 3 touchdown passes in this game and also run for 1. And it was only a matter of time before he was going to find Mason Englert for the touchdown, and he did on that last play. Meek just got the call from the sideline, and he looks to line up under center.
Wayne starting this drive with 4 receivers out in formation. Pick up a big chunk of this deficit. It's going to probably have to come through the air.
They empty the backfield here. Meek fakes the screen, now takes off and gets what he can, but it's not going to be much. Carroll was all over that. Hunter Mertz was in on that tackle, but the first guy to get there was Jordan Hickson. Well, it's a big weekend for Carroll sports. The Carroll girls cross-country team, and I believe the boys cross-country team, will be competing in regionals tomorrow. That's at West Noble High School.
It's going to be one of the more colder regionals to date. Obviously a little bit more of a later start with the COVID delay, but interesting wrinkle there. We'll see how the times play out.
Meek flushed out of the pocket. He's going to take off and again get what he can, and not much gain there, but he does turn it into a manageable third down. It's a gain of about 2, maybe 3, and it looks like it's going to be 3rd and 6. It's back-to-back carries for Aiden Meek, and we'll make it 3rd and 5. They mark it at the 36-yard line.
Judging by the deficit, we'll see how Wayne feels after the pickup of this 3rd down, but if they stop short and it's close, wouldn't be surprised to see you go for it on 4th down again.
Meek to throw. He looks to set up the screen, throws it high, but it's complete, and that's Collins, who's spun down out of bounds by Cade Dinan.
General's trying to set up Collins on that left side screen once again. Carroll ready for it this time, able to contain.
In case you're wondering, Cade Dinan is the son of head coach Doug Dinan. It was about a 1-yard gain there, 4th and 4, and the Generals are keeping the offense on the field. It was like they're going to empty the backfield for Meek.
Got Flanagan on the left side.
Meek takes the snap. Throws incomplete, and that was intended for Flanagan, the big 6'5" wideout. Pretty good coverage that looked like Jorge Valdez, who was on him.
Yeah, Valdez just right there in coverage, almost just ran into Flanagan, ran into him. As Valdez just trying to keep him in front of that first down marker. Play is developed right in front of him.
Another word from our sponsors. This one from Anderson Heating and Cooling. Anderson Heating and Air Conditioning is dedicated to providing the best possible solution for your home or business, a system and solution that fits your unique needs. Visit AndersonCoolHeat.com. Well, the Carroll Chargers certainly hoping not to cool off as Carmody gets the handoff, turns it upfield, and picks up the first down. A little second gear there for Luke Carmody.
Another great run from Carmody, another great block there from number 62, Max Malcolm. Keep saying his name in combination with Carmody, but those guys have been doing a great job on the left side.
Becker takes a shot toward the end zone, incomplete. He was looking for Cooper Rudolph. That looked like pass interference there. Offensive pass interference, that is, and there is a flag, it looks like, on the near side.
That may go on Carroll. You mentioned it, Thad. That extension, as soon as that referee sees that extension, does not matter the force generally, just from the point of view of the referee on that sideline. Can pull the flag real quick.
Well, last year it was Kyle Rudolph, who many thought should have been called for offensive pass interference in the Vikings' playoff win against the Saints. I don't believe that Kyle Rudolph is related to Cooper Rudolph, although Kyle Rudolph, that is, did play his college ball here in the Hoosier State. Was a tight end at Notre Dame.
No relation there, I believe. Here,
illegal substitution. Well, so it does go against Carroll. Nope, I beg your pardon. I thought the initial signal was against Carroll, but now it's going to be against Wayne.
Well, there were some defenders for Wayne that were scrambling onto the field late. I thought Carroll might take a shot in the air just because of the players late to get on the field, but there was no flag thrown initially. Must have snuck it in there right before the play.
Handoff to Carmody, turns it upfield, gets down to about the 5, tried to keep the wheels churning, and he got pushed down. Well, if Kyle Rudolph and Cooper Rudolph are related, they're probably not brothers. Kyle went to high school in Cincinnati.
Carroll wants to work quick.
The fake to Carmody. It's Becker on the keeper. Breaks one tackle, but then the second wave gets to him.
I know you saw some calls from the crowd there, but I like the no call there on the roughness there at the end of the play. I think both players are still going at it before the whistle was blown.
We're about halfway through the second quarter, 6 minutes to go. And this is second down and goal, and now a flag comes flying in.
It's going to go on the Carroll sideline, it looks like.
So that's going to back up the Chargers, perhaps.
I don't think they're going to call a penalty on that, actually.
Well, you're right. They usually don't back them up for sideline warning.
But that was interesting. You see the flag get called. A lot of times it might just be a stop and then kind of a notion to the sideline rather than the flag get called or get flown there.
Becker looks to throw. Now he's going to keep it. Still on his feet, and he's cut down at about the 5-yard line. Arthur Moon with the tackle. One of the returning defensive players for the Generals.
Leads the Generals on tackles in the season. 66 tackles, 10.5 for a loss, 6 sacks, and interception as well. Pretty impressive numbers for a junior.
I know when I talked with Sherwood Haydock before the season, he talked about how impressed he was with what he saw on film from Arthur Moon.
Still another year to improve the craft as well for Moon.
That's Coverstone who goes in motion. And this is third and goal from the 5. Here's Becker rolling to his left. Throws toward the sideline. Receiver slipped, and it's incomplete. It was intended for Coverstone.
Yeah, they moved Coverstone to that left side, Thad, and nobody was there for Wayne in coverage. Just trying to work him towards the left side of the end zone. He was wide open, just to throw a little short.
Well, 4th and goal from the 5, you certainly got the option of going for it, but you're also closer in that you could bring out your field goal unit. See field goals often foregone at the high school level. Carroll right now still has the offense out on the field.
Carroll has a capable field goal kicker, but obviously with the 20-point advantage, or near 20-point advantage, probably comfortable taking the shot here.
They call the timeout here, and while they take a timeout, we will take one as well. Back in 30 seconds on Summit City Sports.
There are tons of benefits to using compression therapy, but my favorite are speeding up muscle recovery, reducing swelling and inflammation, and improving my athletic performance.
(35-12) in favor of Carroll. They had the offense on the field moments ago on 4th and goal from the 5. We'll see if they bring the offense back out. It was the Chargers who just took the timeout.
They're huddled up like they still might. Most of that offense still in the huddle.
Well, here come the Chargers back onto the field after the huddle. After the timeout, I should say. The lineup, Mason Englert alone to the bottom of your screen. 3 wide receivers to the other side.
Look for Becker to roll to the left side here. Maybe find one of the 3 guys off to the left. Or depending on the matchup off the line for Englert, maybe look his way.
Becker does roll to the left. Steps the other way. Throws to the end zone. Touchdown. Bowden Height.
I love the progression there for Becker looking off to the left side, looking for Coverstone in a similar play we saw on 3rd down on the missed pass, and then just kind of surveying back over to the middle, seeing who was open as Height was changing fields to the left side to the right side.
So the streak continues for Carroll. They have scored on all of their possessions here in the first half. And this is Sebastian Lopez on for the PAT. Becker to hold it. They get it down. And Lopez puts it through.
Now Carroll just a field goal away from their season average of 45 points per game. We still got some time to play, about 5 minutes in this first half rather.
We'll get another brief look at that last touchdown on the Traction AP replay. It looked like Jeff Becker was looking to cover Stone, but then Height came open, and Becker was able to turn and find him. Not an easy thing to do, but Becker was able to make it happen. And Carroll takes a 30-point lead. Well, we have a moment. We'll get in a word from another one of our sponsors that allow us to come out and do these games that we get to do on SummitCitySports.com. El Azteca Mexican Restaurant has been a Fort Wayne favorite since 1973. El Azteca Mexican recipes are sure to tantalize your taste buds. Visit elaztecarestaurant.com. So here's Evan Jester out to kick the kickoff for the Chargers. They lead it by a score of 42-12.
You mentioned El Azteca there, Thad. That's one of my favorites here. I miss when I'm at Ball State.
And it's a deep kick. Going to be returned from about the 10. Justin Alexander on the return. He had a big return earlier in this game. He gets this one out to the 27-yard line. It will be decent field position for Wayne, but they are down 30 points.
That was like a bowling ball there as Alexander came up the field and twisted into a couple defenders as well as some generals. You really don't like those plays because legs get wrapped up really easily.
And we do have a player down here, and that's Cameron Tolles, who's getting off the field, but you can tell he's in quite a bit of pain.
Yeah, not putting any pressure on that right foot.
Trainers, actually I think that's Coach Haydock who comes to his aid as he helps him over to the sideline. Generals down 30 points, and they want to make sure that they keep Carroll out of the end zone or if possible score here. It's definitely possible with 4:51 on the clock. Because if Carroll gets this to a 35-point lead or more, well, that could have an effect on the second half. Tell you more about that if we get there. Here's the handoff straight up the middle. That's Chris Thomas. And he goes nowhere. Mark Murray in on the tackle, the junior defensive lineman. Well, it's now a score of 28-0, Dwenger leading Northrop. As Dwenger tries to inch closer to a potential SAC title, but they would not only have to win to make that happen, Homestead would have to lose to Southside. And Homestead has not lost since week 1. That was against Northrop.
Homestead looking pretty good right now, up 17-0 with 1:41 left in the second quarter over Southside.
And I believe that was Collins who got that. Nope, that was Thomas, and he's gang tackled behind the line. I think Hunter Mertz may have been the last one to jump in there and get the tackle.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for this Generals offense right now because you don't want to make a mistake and turn it over and give Carroll good field position back here. But at the same time, you're trying to keep the ball on the ground, keep the clock running, and try not to allow them to get the ball back to score again. Good news for Wayne, though. Carroll did elect to receive in the first half, so Generals will start with the ball at the end of the first half.
They'll go from the shotgun here. Thomas remains the back on 3rd and 12. Meek has time. Now pulls it down. Going to try and get what he can. It's a decent game, but well short of the first down.
Good protection there for Meeks, but he's got to be careful when he's coming up and cutting through that first level of the offensive line. I believe Jordan Hickson, number 71 for the Chargers, was streaming in from the right side, and Meeks never saw him. That can be a easy strip there, and ball can come on the ground real quick.
And tonight is homecoming night. They just made the call asking for the homecoming court to make their way toward the field. But it's Carroll right now, the visiting team, who has the lead.
Chargers might send everybody here on an attempted block.
A whistle blown here. It's just another equipment issue. Well, perhaps. That's Lamarion Nelson who had to head off the field and in to take his place. His number 51, Kyron Johnson.
Wayne has got to get a clean snap here.
Here's a flag. It looks like it's going against Wayne. Or is it? Well, the Generals are backing up. Offsides against Carroll is the call. Now, that's not quite going to give Wayne a first down, but it's going to make it 4th and about 2, maybe 3.
Now we got some confusion out there as both teams trying to get the defense and offense respectively back out there.
That's right. Wayne's going to go for this, and there's guys on both teams just getting out on the field. Chris Thomas was one of the guys running out there, and it's Carroll who calls the timeout.
Well, it was funny because it kind of the chaos kind of started as Coach Haydock, you heard him yell, he's like, get up, like just trying to get his team out on the field, with the offense at least out on the field. Some guys were sitting down, some guys were off the far left side, so you saw that scramble. Special teams came off, then Carroll had to adjust for that.
So that's going to make it 4th and 2 because of the penalty. And while we have a chance, we'll get another word from one of our sponsors that allows us to come out here and do these games. iCryo specializes in whole-body cryotherapy, body sculpting, cryofacials, infrared sauna, and compression therapy services. Check out Jalen Smith's signature location on Coliseum Boulevard by Blaze Pizza. Well, speaking of Blaze Pizza, do they have Blaze Pizza down there in Muncie?
We do not. I know Blaze Pizza is a little newer to Fort Wayne. I think that location been maybe 2 or 3 years ago now. A little aged, but that's a little bit newer to the Fort Wayne area. I'd love one down in Muncie.
It's pretty good pizza if you haven't been there.
It is very good. Kind of a different format, too.
Well, Wayne is going to keep the offense on the field on this 4th and 2 and try to keep this drive going. It's a 30-point lead for Carroll. Wayne hoping to cut into that before halftime. It's Thomas who gets the call, fights his way toward the marker. I think he's got it.
Might have just nudged it out. Now we're seeing the official come from the sideline. It's close.
Yeah, there looks like
close.
He's right on the line, or if he's short, just short of it. Needed to get about the 38.5-yard line, it looked like. And they might bring out the chains for a measurement. Officials' timeout has been called.
I'm trying to see, because from our perspective here, it looks like they're short, but obviously we're set straight on from the 50.
They just signaled to have the chain gang come in and stretch out the chains to check it out.
So now we're going to get a look.
Just I thought that was the signal.
Thomas might have got
here they come.
across and on that spin.
It was 4th and about 2. Generals decided to go for it after a penalty on Carroll, and they got it.
They got it by almost a whole football's length. A little bit more dramatic there than the actual outcome. I think you were on it first, Thad.
Yeah,
Thomas looked like he had it.
I initially thought he had it. Then where the ball was spotted, it looked a little bit closer. But it is a first down for Wayne. 2:26 to go in this first half.
That sequence of events really worked out well for the Generals because we mentioned they probably don't want to give the Chargers the ball back here and a chance to score. Go from a near punt situation, now first down, full set of downs.
4 down lineman for the Chargers. Meek will go under center. He fakes the handoff, looks to throw, has a man downfield, takes a shot, looking for Flanagan. He hauls it in. Easy pitch and catch to the big man.
There's just not much Cade Dinan can do there. Flanagan's 6'5" to Dinan's 5'8". I love the way Aiden Meek's been able to kind of step out of the pocket from under center, give himself plenty of space, and then now he's found Flanagan a couple of times downfield tonight. Big time pick up through the air.
Now Flanagan will motion to the far side of the field. Flanagan's been the go-to guy for Aiden Meek this week. He's got Thomas lined up in the backfield. And the Generals are in the red zone. The give to Thomas. And he is dragged down from behind by Reeve Muncie.
It's a big-time tackle there from Muncie, just using the left arm. Bringing Thomas down. Not an easy ball carrier to take down. Give credit to Muncie. He was pretty much on his knees when he brought him down.
Wonder if you get any points for that in a wrestling match.
I was getting ready to say it looks like more of a wrestling move, using that low center of gravity.
Of course, a takedown in wrestling is worth 2 points.
We'll give him some style points on that one.
Meek fakes the handoff. Gets pressure, gets it away. Pass is caught. A reversal of field by Tolles, I believe. Check that. It's Jamari Tabb who makes the catch, the tight end.
Give Meek credit for staying in on that play, as Ottenweiler delivered a big-time hit as he got rid of that one.
Well, the Generals will call a timeout with 58 seconds to go in this first half, and while they take a timeout, getting just one more word from one of our sponsors as we get closer and closer to halftime. Parkview Sports Medicine continues to lead the way in Northeast Indiana. Our specialized sports medicine team offers direct access to physical therapy and sports physicians in our new Parkview Ortho Express Clinic located at the Sport 1 Parkview Fieldhouse. No referral is needed, saving you both time and money. Visit ParkviewSportsMedicine.com to learn more. Well, a key drive here for the Wayne Generals, and you mentioned earlier, Balin, the Generals trying to cut this lead down before halftime, and it benefits them that they get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, they could really make this game interesting, where just a couple of minutes ago we were thinking this might be a running clock to start the second half. Now Wayne a chance to put some points on the board here, and then if they can keep the momentum out of halftime, out of the locker room, make this a game maybe.
It's 3rd and 11 with 58.8 to go. They've got Flanagan lined up to the near side.
42 points by Carroll matches the highest scoring output allowed by the Wayne defense tonight, or in all this season long.
High snap. Meek picks it up, looks to throw, gets some pressure. And he gets it away. Low throw, incomplete. Flanagan had a chance to pull it in, but there was Stewart, Aaron Stewart, there with the coverage. He might have gotten a hand on that one.
Meek got hit hard for the second consecutive play. Nice job by just getting rid of that one, really. Not a whole lot there in front of him.
And it's going to be 4th and 11. They're going to keep the offense on the field.
Carroll, I believe, was still 2 timeouts, too. This Carroll offense we know can move quick.
I think they have 1 timeout, if I'm not mistaken.
Three seconds on the play clock. Wayne's got to snap it here.
And I don't think he got it off. Flag came right in as the snap came down, and it is a delay of game.
That's 2 consecutive mistakes, a snap over the head forcing the long 4th down, and now some penalty yards tacking on to that. Can really kill a drive.
Going to be 4th and 16 after that flag. 50.4 seconds left to go in this first half. They'll empty the backfield for Meek.
Carroll's got to find Flanagan here.
And another flag that blows the play dead.
I think Coach Haydock's getting another.
It's a sideline infraction.
Yep.
That's going to back him up to the 30-yard line and make it 4th and 21.
Now you got to be careful if you're going to put the ball through the air to not make a mistake.
Generals need to reach the 9-yard line to convert a first down.
Stays the same here for Carroll, though. You have got to find Flanagan. Keep him contained.
They get pressure. Meek running out of time, and he goes down. Liam Ottenweller.
During those 2 consecutive penalties, Ottenweiler was in the backfield rather quickly. I know the whistle was blown. Probably the offensive lineman might have staved off a little bit, but Ottenweiler was ready on 3 consecutive plays, and give him credit there, making the stop.
I believe that's Ottenweller's 3rd sack of the regular season. And now the Chargers, I believe, have just 1 timeout. Check that. I think they actually do have 2 timeouts. I think you were right about that earlier, Balin.
So I know they used the 1 timeout on defense. I wasn't sure if I caught another one in between there. And 2 timeouts and about 50 seconds left is all Carroll needs to score. They've scored in a couple of plays tonight already.
It's somewhere in here. It's
over here. Becker takes the snap. He's flushed out of the pocket, trying to find some room to run, and he does find some. And he gets out of bounds, looks like at the 45-yard line.
It's the right move there. No need to force anything. With just 31 seconds left. You want to take this lead into halftime and not give Wayne any momentum. Good pressure for the Generals, and Becker wisely just steps out of bounds.
They called it a 5-yard gain, marking it about the 43, maybe the 44-yard line. Twin wide receivers to either side of the field for the Chargers. And here's Becker looking to throw. He lofts it toward the sideline a little bit too high. I think he was going for Cooper Rudolph there. And it's going to bring up 3rd and 5.
Cam Hedgecock, number 3, in the bottom of your screen, coming in formation. Haven't seen him too many times tonight, but can pick up big plays through the air. Would not be surprised if he gets a target here.
Cam Hedgecock transferred in from Bishop Luers. Just so happens that Carroll played Luers to open the regular season. So Hedgecock was in familiar territory when this season began. Becker looks to throw, goes to the sideline, and that's behind his intended receiver. I think he was going for Rudolph again. And now it's 4th and 5. And I think Carroll is just going to bring out the punt team by the looks of this.
So that's the risk you run with this Carroll offense when you're successful through the air. not afraid to go to it with little time left, but you rack up those incompletions and it stops the clock. Just free timeouts for the Generals.
22.3 to go. I believe that's Mason Engler to punt. And they try to fake it. The snap was bobbled. And still running for his life was Dylan Bennett. He goes down well behind the line. There is a flag down.
It looked like an attempted fake, but I'm not sure that botched snap kind of just took all the air out of the play.
It's a block in the back against Carroll. That penalty will be declined, and Wayne is going to get the ball with good field position. Very good field position, I might add.
If it was indeed a fake, that's a very interesting call, because if you're unsuccessful, which in this case it was, I mean, Wayne's setting up with pretty good field position, pretty much where they started or where they ended their last drive.
And again, Wayne is going to get the ball to start the second half.
I believe still one timeout for the Generals as well.
Well, they'll empty the backfield for Aiden Meek on this first down play.
Like to see Flanagan get one target at least here.
Meek takes a shot, looking for Flanagan, down near the goal line, but he is well out of bounds when he catches that thing.
A little bit of an overthrow there for Meek, but I like the idea. Carroll was ready for it, though. Had two defenders matched up on Flanagan. Still, with that size, Flanagan able to control that one.
You bring two guys on a big 6'5" receiver like that. Obviously, the risk you run is you leave somebody else open. I think that might be Cameron Toll standing right next to him in the slot.
I think they go right back.
Check that, it's Collins.
We know Collins just as dangerous in open space, but still think you got to give Flanagan one more shot.
Meek throws, big hit, and a flag comes in. Cade Dinan put the hit. The flag came in, looked like right on the hit.
He was on the line of scrimmage. Just might be against the Generals on a hold.
Yeah, the hit didn't look like anything illegal, so yeah, they do call holding here. Yeah, the hit just looks simply like shoulder to shoulder.
Mm-hmm. A lot of noise, but not a whole lot of dangerous contact there.
Going to mark it off, looks like from the spot of the foul.
10 seconds left, maybe just a shot to the end zone here if you can get the protection for the Generals.
Either a shot to the end zone or maybe a throw to the sideline and get out of bounds real quick.
Biggest thing here still, you do not want to force a turnover or a mistake. If the play's not there, then don't force something.
Meek will go under center. And he throws the screen looking for Collins. It's ruled a completion. Collins had to go down to get it, and he picks up only about 2 yards. And I think we have a timeout called. We do. The Generals take it.
Wasn't sure if they were going to be able to get that one in there because Collins was upright for a good part of that before that play was blown dead. He was reversing up the middle of the field. He was not afraid to try to make a play out of that one and not just step out of bounds.
That looked like it was about to be a fake kneel down there by Aiden Meek, just the way he backed away from center. But one more play left for the Generals before halftime. And I think we've got an idea of who the main target might be on this play. Obviously, you've got a big 6'5" target like Flanagan. Would not be surprised if Meek goes his way. Well, the down and distance here is 3rd and 21, but you're not really worried about the first down distance here per se. Trying to set something up where you can get to the end zone.
Something to keep an eye on here too, Thad, is just getting a weather update. Could see some rain starting in the next 24 minutes. So get a big break here in halftime. We might come out to some rain.
Snap to Meek. He steps back, gets some pressure, gets it away, and that's well incomplete, and that will take us to halftime.
Good execution there from the Carroll defense, as you just don't want to force anything. No penalties, keep the field clean, but just get enough pressure for a throwaway there for Meeks, and no chance downfield.
We are at halftime. It is a 42-12 lead for the Carroll Chargers over Wayne. We'll be right back after this break here on SummitCitySports.com.
We have to do this. A bit of a hill.
His mother said, if you're coming to school, you got to bring your sister because they have to go and work in the fields. So this kid carries his 1-year-old sister everywhere.
A lot of those kids don't eat in the morning. A lot of those kids, the only place they do eat is at that school.
I thought going up that mountain, Mary's meals can reach everywhere that there is a hungry child.
You see what happens after a simple meal? It just came to life.
Love reaches everywhere.
Parkview Sports Medicine's integrated sports medicine team is built to serve the needs of all athletes in all sports. Our team's only goal is to improve athletes in every facet. PSM offers performance training to help athletes get better on the field, dedicated athletic rehabilitation and physical therapy to help them get better off of it, certified athletic trainers in our PSM schools providing daily support to our athletes, and a specialized orthopedic walking clinic when injury strikes. Call 260-266-4007 to speak to our care navigators or visit ParkviewSportsMedicine.com to learn more about what we can do to improve athletes at all levels. Parkview Sports Medicine. Become more. Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express Walk-In Clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express Walk-In Clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Parkview Ortho Express, located at the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, gives you access to quick care and orthopedic physicians when you need it most. Get x-rays, treatment, and referrals to Parkview Care, all in the convenience of a walk-in clinic. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcast. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
This is an invitation to join a movement propelled by people who care and members who have a share in the place they bank.
Good morning, Sam.
So when you have the chance to get your first home loan, you know an expert will guide you every step of the way. Or when it's time to buy your new car, you'll be treated like more than just a credit score.
Good news, ProFed can get you that payment.
This is an invitation to a place where simply belonging can help enrich your whole community. ProFed Credit Union. You're invited.
We are at halftime. Carroll with a 42-12 lead over Wayne on the road. Wayne is going to get the ball back to start the second half, but a good start to this game for the Carroll Chargers. And, you come into a game like this talking about how Jeff Becker is one of the top passers in the SAC, and he's certainly played a great game, but you also got to give credit to Carroll for keeping it balanced and utilizing the running game as well with Luke Carmody.
Yeah, 94 yards on the ground for Carmody. He's looked great just following his blockers up front, not doing really anything too special from the running back position, just playing it really the fundamental way.
Now, Wayne, they've had plenty of opportunities. They've moved the ball fairly well, particularly since their third drive of the game where they got on the board. But, again, penalties proved to be a factor in this one.
A couple of big plays for the Wayne offense, but not a whole lot of consistency, and a lot of that's had to do with the penalties, Thad. You mentioned that. And one more note on that Carroll offense, something that we've seen them struggle with this season is a little bit more diversity as far as spreading the ball out to some different position or some different skill players. Tonight, 3 different players with a touchdown, or rather, check that. Yeah, 3 different players with a receiving touchdown: Height, Floyd, Englert, and then you've obviously got the touchdown on the ground to the big man Kyler Bill, something a little unconventional as well. So good job being creative for this Carroll playbook tonight as well.
Jeff Becker has also run it in for a touchdown today, so add that to his total. And we will get in one more word from our sponsors at Parkview Sports Medicine. At Parkview Sports Medicine, it's game on. We serve every level of athlete with our integrated sports medicine team, including the region's only specialized athletic rehab facility. Learn more about our services by logging on to parkviewsportsmedicine.com. 42-12, your score here at Wayne High School. The Chargers have had the lead pretty much all the way through, have not relinquished it at any point. We'll be back in just a matter of moments here on SummitCitySports.com.
This is an invitation to join a movement propelled by people who care and members who have a share in the place they bank.
Good morning, Sam.
So when you have the chance to get your first home loan, you know an expert will guide you every step of the way. Or when it's time to buy your new car, you'll be treated like more than just a credit score.
Good news, ProFed can get you that payment.
This is an invitation to a place where simply belonging can help enrich your whole community. ProFed Credit Union. You're invited.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
We are back here at Carroll High School, 42-12. The Carroll Chargers with the lead as we are in halftime. About 7.5 minutes left in halftime, and then they'll put another 3 minutes on the clock when the kids come back out for warm-ups. Well, for Jeff Becker, we talked about the running game and how well Carroll has utilized Luke Carmody. Jeff Becker, I believe he's thrown 3 touchdown passes, also run for 1 today. So another solid night for one of the top passers in the SAC.
Well, he's cutting out on the mistakes, too. Last week I mentioned just the 9 completions for Becker. Some of those overthrows and underthrows mixed in there as well. We've only seen a handful of overthrows really tonight, a couple of times in the red zone, but came out really clean. I don't think he had an incompletion until the second quarter. So a clean game so far for Jeff Becker and a really good comeback from last week.
Well, Wayne is going to get the ball to start the second half. A good chance for them to put a decent drive together and cut into this deficit, which they certainly need to do because we're talking about a situation where if Carroll were to score, you would go to a running clock situation.
Yeah, we saw that a couple of weeks ago for Carroll against Southside. Carroll not afraid to put some points on the board late, regardless of the score. And now with that new implementation of the running clock, that becomes even more dangerous for teams.
In fact, it was in the game against Lures where Carroll scored a touchdown on the last play of the first half and made it a 36-point game, as I recall. But they got to that. Actually, no, they made it a 41-point game. They weren't quite at 35. They made it a 41-point game just before halftime and ended up going to the running clock and defeating Lures in the opener. Well, we do have an update, meanwhile. Homestead leads Southside 24-0 on our most recent update. Homestead trying to secure an SAC title for the second year in a row. One more word from our sponsors at Parkview Sports Medicine before we go to our next break. Parkview Sports Medicine is the area's largest integrated sports medicine team, specialized in serving every level of athlete. No matter if they're trying to get better at what they do or recovering from an injury, our experts coordinate your care in state-of-the-art facilities in our community to start your journey. Visit parkviewsportsmedicine.com. That's parkviewsportsmedicine.com. A 42-12 lead for the Carroll Chargers at halftime over the Wayne Generals, trying to finish the regular season at 7-2. We'll be right back after this break here on SummitCitySports.com.
Excited about the place that it put us, and the quarantine hit, and we knew we had guys that were going to work hard at home, but just the idea that we could get a lot of them together working hard at a location with people that know what they're doing was really beneficial. And I think, that training did a great job for those guys to kind of get the ball rolling for them, and they came back in the end of June, early July, and it's like they hadn't missed a beat. They were flexible, they were fast, and ready to lift and run and start playing football, so it was a huge benefit for us.
To gain an edge on your competition, it starts with a free one-on-one performance assessment. Call 260-266-4007. Parkview Sports Medicine. Become more.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Someday, you'll get your knee replaced. Someday, a new hip. Someday can be sooner than you think. At Parkview Ortho Hospital, we want to help you get moving again. So we offer a full range of options for joint pain, including outpatient joint replacements and personalized solutions. It's time to reclaim your life at Parkview Ortho Hospital, because someday is today. Learn more at parkview.com/ortho. Parkview, we believe in better.
We are at halftime. Carroll leads Wayne 42-12 here on SummitCitySports.com. Got about 3 minutes left before the second half begins. Got one more word in from our sponsors at Parkview Sports Medicine before we get going again. At Parkview Sports Medicine, it's game on. We are the region's largest integrated sports medicine team, providing athletes specialized services from improving their performance to recovering from injuries. To learn more, go to parkviewsportsmedicine.com. A 42-12 lead for the Carroll Chargers. A good start to the first half, but Wayne will get the ball to start the second half, and they were able to find something there with Christian Flanagan in the receiving game. Aiden Meek looked to him quite frequently, and Flanagan made plenty of big plays.
And that's where Wayne's going to have their success offensively. The run game not working as they would like coming into tonight. That's where they focus their offense. Over 200 yards per game on average for Wayne on the ground. But tonight, with the score and the circumstances, potentially having a running clock, if Carroll's able to put a couple more points on the board, you've got to rely on the attack through the air, and Flanagan's going to be a big part of that as well. Cam Tolles also might get in on the action, bearing an injury. I know he got shaken up there in the third or second quarter. So we'll see what they're able to open up with that. And for Carroll, I think defensively, the key in this second half is going to be cutting down on the big plays. You got kind of burned by Homestead and Dwanger a couple of times earlier in the season in some bigger matchups. If you want to prepare for the sectionals and you want to get ready for the postseason, you have to defend against the big play. That's where Wayne was able to get two of their scores tonight.
We've got about a minute and a half before the second half gets started. The kids will get about 3 minutes to warm up before the second half officially gets started, so we will be back in just a matter of moments here on SummitCitySports.com.
Where we have to do this? A bit of a hill.
His mother said, if you're coming to school, you got to bring your sister because they have to go and work in the fields. So this kid carries his 1-year-old sister everywhere.
A lot of those kids don't eat in the morning. A lot of those kids, the only place they do eat is at that school.
I thought going up that mountain, Mary's meals can reach everywhere that there's a hungry child.
You see what happens after a simple meal? It just came to life.
Love reaches everywhere.
Parkview Sports Medicine's integrated sports medicine team is built to serve the needs of all athletes in all sports. Our team's only goal is to improve athletes in every facet. PSM offers performance training to help athletes get better on the field, dedicated athletic rehabilitation and physical therapy to help them get better off of it, certified athletic trainers in our PSM schools providing daily support to our athletes, and a specialized orthopedic walk-in clinic when injury strikes. Call 260-266-4007 to speak to our care navigators or visit ParkviewSportsMedicine.com to learn more about what we can do to improve athletes at all levels. Parkview Sports Medicine. Become more. Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express walk-in clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express walk-in clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Parkview Ortho Express, located at the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, gives you access to quick care and orthopedic physicians when you need it most. Get x-rays, treatment, and referrals to Parkview Care, all in the convenience of a walk-in clinic. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcast. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
This is an invitation to join a movement propelled by people who care and members who have a share in the place they bank.
Good morning, Sam.
So when you have the chance to get your first home loan, you know an expert will guide you.
Just about to start the second half. Carroll leading Wayne by a score of 42-12. And we are ready to start the third quarter.
good news for Wayne here, getting the ball to start the second half like we mentioned earlier. Really need a quick score here. You do not want to give Carroll the ball early on with the potential to start that running clock.
So Evan Jester will kick it away. I believe Justin Alexander and Chris Thomas are back to return. It's returnable, and Alexander does grab it at the 4-yard line. Alexander trying to take it to the outside, gets it across the 20. And Wayne will start right about there for their first drive of the second half.
See what Wayne wants to do early. I know we talked about they're probably going to have to get it through the air, but I would not be surprised if they stick it on the ground. Try to maybe reestablish that here in the second half despite the score.
We just got the score from Spooler Stadium. Snyder, I believe, leading 21-13 over Bishop Luers. Luers trying to get their third win of the regular season. Snyder trying to go to 5-4 for the regular season. Wayne starts this drive from their own 21-yard line. Aiden Meek will go under center. And he'll hand it off the right side here. A short gain there on first down. I think that was Thomas on the carry.
Talk about Snyder, Thad, and I think one of the more impressive things is I know for the Panthers and their fans, it's not the traditional season where they're contending for an SAC title, maybe some postseason hopes, but it's impressive what they've been able to do battling through the conference schedule and still with a chance now to go 500 in what many are considering a down year for the Panthers.
Meek under center again. He'll hand it off again. And another short gain as Reeve Muncie was in on that tackle. Lamarion Nelson got the carry. There is a flag down.
Flag flew in late. Most likely a hold in this situation.
Beg your pardon, it's actually Christian Trimble who's in at quarterback. Holding is the call. Trimble got the start in last week's game against Homestead. Meek was dealing with some injuries.
If you remember, at the end of the first half, he took 2 big hits from Leon Ottenweiler. So would not be surprised if that's got something to do with it. I'm actually trying to look for him on the sideline here, and I'm not.
I think they just said he's dealing with a separated shoulder. I don't know if he is dealing with a separate. That might be him in the jacket over there on the sideline. This is second down and long for the Generals.
The numbers for Trimble coming into tonight: 6 for 10, 58 yards, and 2 touchdowns last week against the Spartans.
Trimble throws the slant to Flanagan. Big hit. Dinan made the initial contact to wrap him up.
Yeah, and then big Craig McGinnis came over the middle and delivered the final blow there. That's a tough hit for the receiver. You know the hit's coming. You're ready for it. The initial one comes, and then right over the top, you get knocked down again. McGinnis looking to push over 50 tackles in the season.
Trimble comes back, waiting to take the snap. He'll line up in the shotgun. They motion Sean Collins over to the near side of the field.
Christian Trimble really in a tough spot coming in on the slow start of the second half on a colder night.
Trimble going to take a shot downfield, looking for Flanagan. A little bit too strong. He had Cade Dinan beat.
Flanagan was right there and ready for that one, but I think that's kind of what I was talking about there, just that shakiness by Trimble. You sit a whole half, not quite ready, and then you get thrown into action, and you're due for an overthrow or an underthrow every now and then.
So that's going to bring on a punt for the Generals.
Try to keep the snap low here for the Generals. Really got to be careful here. Would not be surprised if Carroll sends everyone.
High snap here. They get the punt away. Englert will let it bounce, and he'll just get away from it and let the Generals down at about the 48-yard line and take the field position. We'll see if I think that might still be Becker out there at quarterback, although I think Logan Swain is listed as the backup. With a 30-point lead, I would not be surprised to see the backups in there, but I think that is still Becker.
Yeah, if Carroll score here, if they push it to the running clock, that's probably the end of the day for Becker.
Here's Carmody getting the handoff. Flag comes in, and Carmody with a big run down to the 30-yard line, but it may be coming back.
Good-looking run there for Carmody. They push him over 100 yards on the ground for the game, but like you mentioned, this one probably working its way back.
It is a hold, and it's against the Chargers.
So we saw a few Wayne drives at the end of the first half bitten by penalties, and now Carroll starting the offense a little slow.
So that backs him up to about the 42-yard line. Becker will take the snap. He lofts it down the sideline. Has a man there, but it's too strong. He was looking for Mason Englert.
That's some good coverage there by Wayne. That's Justin Alexander matching up with Engler. Always a tough task, but staying right with him pace for pace, forcing Becker to put the ball out of Englert's reach.
So with that, it's going to be a 2nd down and 20. Jeff Becker with 3 touchdown passes in the first half. Also ran in for a touchdown. Actually, I believe it was 4 touchdowns in the first half, if I'm not mistaken. Becker with a sidestep, dancing around. Now he's going to take off and get what he can. He's pursued well, and he just slides down after the 3-yard gain to the 45-yard line.
I don't know if you caught the move there from number 51, Daniel Reiki, just kind of sidestepping out of the way of Becker as he was cutting it upfield. A pretty clean-looking step back there for Reiki.
This is 3rd and 18 for the Chargers. Becker running out of time. Loses the ball. That's a live ball. Wayne's got a chance at it. Ball bounces around and goes to about the 42. Carroll's not going to gain any yardage from that. It's going to come back to the spot of the fumble, I believe.
They're going to move it up. I think that at least the officials are acting like it. Maybe not. Maybe they're moving it back now. Nope.
They are moving it to the place it went out. Yeah, usually if the offense fumbles and the ball just goes out of bounds, it goes back to the spot of the fumble.
Are they judging, though, potentially it was a live ball and then possessed by Wayne? Is that what you'd imply from that?
It's possible. It didn't look like anybody from Wayne possessed the ball, though. But it's going to be 4th down, and Carroll keeps the offense on the field.
I don't know if the kick constituted his possession for the Generals, but
here's Carmody with a block out in front, picks up the 1st down. A good block out in front from Mark Murray.
That is a really tough break for the Generals. Good pressure on Becker on a 3rd and long. Did exactly what you needed to do. Forced the fumble, and then a turn of events kicks it upfield, and Carroll puts it on the ground to pick up the 1st.
That's Carmody again getting the handoff, and he picks up another 1st down.
Over the last 2 weeks against Concordia and now against Wayne, Luke Carmody's looked great running the ball for the Chargers. And I know we're a bit later in the game, score's pretty big, but if they can develop this kind of consistency just as a little bit of a complement to their passing game, they might have found an opportunity to really change the way that we look at the sectional coming up. Defense has to clean up the big play, but Carroll still with a chance.
This is 1st and 10 inside the 20.
frustrating thing here for Wayne is you've got to stay healthy. Cam Toll's dealing with an injury, and now Meeks.
Complete now out into the flat. That's Cameron Hedgecock, the Lures transfer, and a good gain on first down.
We've seen quite a few players slip up tonight, Thad, on each side. Got to wonder what that playing surface is like at this point of the season.
We haven't gotten any of that rain that we were talking about earlier. Here's Becker on the keeper, inside the 10, and sidesteps his way to the 6-yard line before he gets out of bounds.
Well, I know we have a little bit of a different situation here compared to Spooler Stadium, but it's the exact same setup at Wayne. I know two teams are playing a home game at least one team every week. It's Spooler Stadium compared to here, but to add to that, they did put the turf out there, the artificial turf, so wonder if this is the similar playing surface as what we get at Spooler in the past.
That field turf was installed last year as Becker fakes the handoff, goes to the end zone, touchdown. There's Bowden Height with the grab.
And once again for Becker, just looking over the middle, trying to find the open man, and Height left alone, ran a pretty good route there as well.
And that gets us to the running clock situation, 36-point lead for Carroll. And we've got about 8 minutes to go in the game. Extra point will be kicked here by Sebastian Lopez.
For Bowden Height, doubling his touchdowns on the season. 2 tonight, had 2 all season long, make it 4 on the year.
And Lopez's kick is good. So I believe that's either the 4th or the 5th touchdown pass of the game for Jeff Becker, but well, either way, we'll go ahead and take one more look at it on the Traction AP replay. Good fake, and Becker able to buy himself some time. And a good job by Bowden Height to get away from Christian Flanagan there. Flanagan, the much taller athlete on the field, 6'5", plays a little bit of wide receiver, a little bit of defensive back. And now we are clock stops actually at 8 minutes to play as they'll bring the kickoff unit out. I think it'll start back up and keep on running after this upcoming kickoff. But we are in a running clock situation with Carroll taking, in this case, a 37-point lead and trying to get to 7-2 for the regular season. They were 6-3 last year.
Now, I can't stress it enough in this situation for both teams. You've just got to look to stay healthy. Can't afford any big injuries here as we're under the running clock now after the kickoff.
This is probably where you'll start to see some of the backups as we get closer and closer to sectionals. Sectionals start next week, for, I believe Wayne starts their sectional next week in Class 4A. Carroll will get the week off, and they'll start their sectional on the 30th. This is Donnie Moore fielding the kickoff. Trying to get to the outside. He tries to shake the tackle, but then the second wave gets to him. So Wade Steinbarger in on the tackle.
Yeah, Braden Steele initially, I think, wrapped him up. Moore just ripped away from him, and then Steele kind of reeled him back in almost with the other arm.
And now the clock does start back up again. Again, we are in a running clock situation. If I'm not mistaken, many of the matchups have been set for sectionals, and Carroll is set to take on Warsaw.
That's a Warsaw team that likes to put the ball on the ground. Carroll struggled against the run at times this season, so that's going to be a great matchup. And then for Wayne, taking on Huntington North.
Down in the backfield, a good tackle for loss. That might have been, not sure if that was Muncie who got, that's Valdez, I think, who got there first, along with Murray. A little combo tackle there for the two Charger defensemen. Almost a little hockey term. By the way, if you don't know, we got a hockey broadcaster in the booth with us. Brandon Porter running the camera. When hockey season starts up, you will hear him. In fact, he's done some Spaceman broadcast as well. You'll hear him on those, too. Well, this is Christian Trimble to take the snap. Sets up the screen to the outside. And that's Donnie Moore. Did he lose the football? He did indeed. Carroll's got it.
That was a right place, right time. I'm not sure if it was the hit that brought out the fumble. I'm not even sure who got on it. I think
Maddox Floff.
Yeah, number 28, Maddox Floff getting in there. And the ball just really ended up right in the breadbasket for him.
So now we're halfway through the third quarter, and the Generals or rather the Chargers take over deep in general territory. And I would imagine with a 35-point lead, we'll see the backups come into this game.
And Jeff Becker not out there anymore. Number 13, Logan Swain.
He's been the backup for much of the season. Comes into this game having thrown 11 passes, and if I'm not mistaken, he's completed all 11 of them. Excuse me, that was last year, I beg your pardon. And here's the handoff. I believe that was Carmody getting the call, and he's in for the touchdown. So Luke Carmody's night not quite finished.
And over 100 yards on the night on the ground, and I think that's his first touchdown of the game as well. Well-deserved touchdown at that.
He's worked awful hard in this particular matchup. Yeah, a team that's known for passing the ball proves that they've got enough balance with the running game, or enough of a running game to balance things out.
Now 55 points as we wait for the extra, or the point after, potential make it 56. That's the highest output Wayne has allowed in the season.
It was a Charger late getting out on the field, and a flag comes in on the PAT. The kick went through, but I think there was a dead ball foul. It was against Wayne, but it was a neutral zone infraction. So I think they're going to have Carroll kick it again. Had it been offsides, the kick would stand. But if it were encroachment or neutral zone infraction, they would blow that dead. And I believe that is the case here. So they'll try the extra point one more time, coming up on 4 minutes to play.
Frustrating part about that for Wayne is that really puts the running clock stoppage out of play.
Kick is good, meanwhile, 56-12. So Carroll with 2 early touchdowns here in the second half to get to this 56-12 lead that they have. Now, clock did stop there after that PAT was made. Even though we are in a running clock situation, it'll start up again on the kickoff and continue to run. Again, Carroll will play Warsaw in the first round of their sectional playoff game. That's scheduled for October 30th, which is 2 weeks from tonight. And the other sectional matchup will be Snyder versus Homestead. Again, that's also scheduled to start on October 30th. Many of the sectionals will be starting next week. Wayne, they're part of Class 4A. They used to be in the same class as Bishop Dwenger, but Dwenger more recently moved up to 5A. I believe their playoffs start next week as well.
Yeah, 6A, with the exception of a couple of sectionals getting the break.
Justin Alexander backpedals to the 2-yard line, and he sidesteps the other way and then gets wrestled down.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, for a freshman, Braden Steele can really bring down players as a tackler. Really impressive what we've seen from him tonight on the kickoff.
He's listed as a running back, but we've seen him in there on special teams. I think we've even seen him in there on defense a few times.
Slotting in as a linebacker. I think he might even be in there right now. A couple of substitutions coming in. Not a couple, but really a second team in there right now for Carroll. Much like his older brother Tucker, Braden has worked his way in there as an underclassman throughout the season, really earning himself a role on defense.
Tucker, of course, a defensive back. And now Christian Trimble back out there with the Wayne offense. He'll hand this one off the right side to Nelson, and Nelson goes out of bounds with a short gain. And there on the tackle was Isa Colbert. Just a 2-yard gain on the play as we get closer and closer to the end of the third quarter. And we are in a running clock situation. They hand it off right off the left side. And a good gain there on second down and long might be enough for the first down. That was Collins, Sean Collins getting the handoff. And, you know, Sean Collins, he got plenty of good minutes a year ago, even with Keyshawn Fields. doing what he did here at Wayne. Fields was a senior last year. He's graduated. But Collins got plenty of carries. And, I've even talked with Keyshawn a couple of times, and he's got nothing but good things to say about Sean Collins.
Well, the thing for Collins is just a junior. Thomas is going to graduate this year, so good chance that Collins slides into that role as the lead back in this offense. The other thing in play, though, for Sean Collins is where they slot him defensively, not out there, but can also kind of line up in that linebacking spot, as well as does Chris Thomas. So
here's Trimble, takes the snap, a quick release, and that appeared to be caught. Nope, incomplete. Incomplete is the ruling on the play, and he was looking for Donnie Moore. We are now inside the final minute of the third quarter as Carroll tries to finish this regular season at 7-2. They were 6-3 at the end of last year's regular season, 7-4 when playoffs were all said and done. They beat Snyder in the first round of sectionals, and that had become quite an interesting matchup. Regular season game last year was decided by 1 point, a blocked extra point. But this year, Carroll absolutely took it to Snyder. Here's Trimble with a quick release, and that's well behind Flanagan, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, that's a dangerous pass right there. As Wayne Steinbarger, pretty close in coverage, could have picked that one and took it the other way. You mentioned that matchup with Snyder getting interesting over the past couple of seasons. Not a whole lot of intrigue this year just because of the down year for Snyder, but give credit to Coach Dunn and what he's been able to do over the course of 11 seasons now here at Carroll. This is a program reminding you that it was considered a winning season or a good season if the team was anywhere close to 500. He's really come in and changed the status quo, I guess you could say, for this program. And I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast as well, Dinan nearing win number 80 tonight.
Well, we start the fourth quarter after this here on SummitCitySports.com. We begin the fourth quarter, 56-12. Carroll with the lead, trying to finish the regular season at 7-2. They'll get the bye week before they go play Warsaw. And the handoff here will go to Chris Thomas. Collins. Did he lose the ball? It looks like Carroll was on top of it. At least I thought they were. And there's the signal. It's Carroll ball.
It's second-team defense for Carroll getting in there and doing some work.
And now we've got an injured player down for the Generals, and he remains down. And we'll find out who that is in just a matter of moments. But in the meantime, we'll take an injury timeout here on SummitCitySports.com.
Excited about the place that it put us, and the quarantine hit, and we knew we had guys that were going to work hard at home, but just the idea that we could get a lot of them together working hard at a location with people that know what they're doing was really beneficial. And I think that training did a great job for those guys to kind of get the ball rolling for them, and they came back in the end of June, early July, and it's like they hadn't missed a beat. They were flexible, they were fast, and ready to lift and run and start playing football, so it was a huge benefit for us.
To gain an edge on your competition, it starts with a free one-on-one performance assessment. Call 260-266-4007. Parkview Sports Medicine. Become more.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260s dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, Nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Someday, you'll get your knee replaced. Someday, a new hip. Someday can be sooner than you think. At Parkview Ortho Hospital, we want to help you get moving again. So we offer a full range of options for joint pain, including outpatient joint replacements and personalized solutions. It's time to reclaim your life at Parkview Ortho Hospital, because someday is today. Learn more at parkview.com/ortho. Parkview, we believe in.
Well, the injured player moments ago was Sean Collins. He has been helped off the field, although he is walking under his own power right now. And here's the handoff off the right side. But down in the backfield there was number 23 for Carroll. That's Anderson Wallakiba. It's a flag down on the play as well. It was a loss of yardage.
Get an update from the NE8 here real quick. As Leo closes out the win. They're your conference champs in the NE8 this season. Undefeated slate for them. And then battling for second place, Norwell and Columbia City. Norwell was down early, now taking a 31-28 lead with about 6 minutes left in the third quarter.
And we heard not long ago that Homestead was also up 41-0 against Southside. And a Homestead win would clinch the SAC for the second year in a row for the Spartans. They went undefeated in the regular season a year ago.
Update from Snyder as well. Panthers up 35-13 over Lures with about 4 minutes left in that game.
Logan Swain in at quarterback. He's taken over for Jeff Becker. And he will hand this one off while Akiba getting the carry, and he's wrestled down as he crosses midfield. And I think that, I beg your pardon, that was Graham Weidenhofer at quarterback.
And the official score for the Leo game over to Cal, 38-0. So that closes out the NE8 championship. Eastside taking care of Angola, up 42-7. That was a game that many thought might be a little closer than the score indicating now. Angola have been playing some pretty good football up to this point.
Well, this down and distance is 2nd and 21. And the handoff does go to Wallakiba, and he goes down right at the line of scrimmage. 56-12 is the score. Those of you just joining us, Jeff Becker, if I'm not mistaken, he threw, I believe, 4 touchdown passes and also added a touchdown run to that.
Got a late flag on the field here, a dead ball flag. Not sure if it's on a sideline or maybe on a player.
It is a dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike conduct, and that's against Carroll. Well, you know, when Coach Dinan looks at the score and the final result of this game, he'll be happy, but he's not going to be happy about stuff like that.
Well, there's been a lot of dead ball fouls, really, for both teams. Not a lot, but when you talk about dead ball fouls, it's something you typically, maybe you get 1 a game for each team. There's been at least 2 for each team tonight, and that's something you got to clean up, especially as we're nearing sectional play.
Well, this is 3rd down, and it looks like 38 or 39. Now, we're talking beyond NFL blitz down and distance. I'll explain that later. Here's a shot downfield by Weidenhofer, well beyond his man's reach, and it's intercepted. Tyzel Thomas. And there he goes on the return. Thomas with a blocker out in front. Gets it across midfield and takes it down to the 45-yard line. And Wayne with great field position after that pick.
Yes, Swain missed Camden Hirschenberger on that throw way over him. And Thomas was right there, kind of go the over with a shoulder grab and made a great return on it. That's one of the hardest things to do for an offense is when you throw that interception is get back and turn it into a tackling situation.
So the Generals take over with great field position as we are inside 8 minutes to play. And we have a sideline warning, it looks like. Or perhaps we do. Haven't seen an official signal.
Still the running clock, under 8 minutes here for Wayne. Obviously, you've dealt with some injuries in this one, but try to get some momentum as you near that matchup with Huntington North in the first round of sectional play next week. This is a great opportunity to do that. No pressure here. Run the playbook and really focus on building for next game.
The current quarterback, Christian Trimble, the guy who's in right now, he's a sophomore. see if he gets the starting job after Aiden Meek graduates. Now, Aiden Meek has one more year of high school ball left here at Wayne. Taking it to the outside is Amarion Hamlet, and Hamlet is run down behind the line. Hamlet, a 6'3" athlete. He's a senior, comes in at about 175 pounds. And this is going to be 2nd down and 12. Well, hurrying off the sideline there, that was Julian Keeler. Running awful quick there, but obviously want to make sure your guys are set properly. Off the right side they go with Nelson. And Nelson gets about a yard on the play, and in on that tackle for the Chargers was number 75, Caden Swidzinski.
Good little burst of speed there for Hamlet, but not a whole lot you can do with the protection right there.
When we last heard, Homestead was leading by a score of 41-0 over Southside, and they're trying to clinch the SAC.
Consecutive year at that there, Dad.
Yep. And before this year, one of the thorns in their side since joining the SAC was beating Dwenger and Snyder. Those had eluded them. Trimble takes a shot downfield too strong in the direction of Flanagan. And those games had eluded them until recent years. Last year, the Spartans beat both the Saints and the Panthers in back-to-back weeks. They did the same again this year. There was a flag thrown. I don't know if they're picking it up or if it's going to be enforced. Yep, they're picking it up.
Well, you mentioned the kind of the matchup with a Snyder or a Dwenger for Homestead. It seems like every year in the SAC, since Carroll and Homestead have joined, it's been a combination of the three. It's been, if you're the one team that's really at the top, you've got to get through that gauntlet of Dwenger, Snyder, and Homestead if you're in Carroll's position, and then just kind of mix and match each team in there. That's kind of been the big four since Carroll and Homestead have joined the conference.
Carroll was able to get past Snyder in week 2 earlier this year, and they had a tough matchup the week after that. They had to go against Deuce Taylor and the Northside Legends, and they had dropped 70 points on the Legends that night. Drop snap here, and Trimble trying to get out of trouble. Gets to the outside, takes it out of bounds across the 40, but that's going to be short of the first down, and that was 4th down, by the way, so the ball will go back to the Chargers.
Yeah, you mentioned 70 points for Carroll. It's a 76-48 victory in what many thought early might be for the conference. Just not quite sure what Homestead had at that point after dropping the first game of the season, but give the Spartans all the credit in the world. Dropping their week 1 matchup versus Northrop and then running the table the rest of the way. That's really tough to do in the SAC.
Evan Ormsby is really impressed at the quarterback position.
A lot of people coming into the season weren't sure what Homestead might look like offensively, as with Luke Goody not playing this season. And Ormsby really didn't miss a beat. Obviously, a little bit of acclimation there the first couple of weeks as the offense just trying to find its groove, and then really came into his own and became his own player.
Luke Goody, of course, committed to play college basketball at Illinois, and he's going to focus on that this year.
For Goody, you could argue that he might be able to play college quarterback and obviously college basketball. Just that kind of an athlete.
That's Weidenhofer who goes down. I beg your pardon, that's Aiden Williams in at quarterback, number 16. So we've seen 3 backups in the game today for the Chargers.
Williams threw a touchdown against Southside to Dylan Floyd late in that one. That was the final score for Carroll in a 66-0 victory. So Williams has had some what do I want to say, experience rather, tripping up on my words there, under center this season.
I think we just got the final score from Southside. Homestead winning that one 41-0. So, when you're up 41-0 in the second half, it certainly seems cooked, glazed, and sliced, as Mark Jones would say. But now we can officially say that the Spartans are the SAC champions for the second year in a row.
Congratulations to Homestead, and the victory belt is going to be staying on the southwest side of Fort Wayne for at least another season.
Now, Carroll, they've put some plenty good teams on the field, and obviously this year one of the top passers in the SAC, and Jeff Becker, The guy who is the top passer in the SAC will be graduating this spring. That's Deuce Taylor, but Becker put together a great season, stands to be back again next year as a senior. And he's also a track runner. They go right down the middle here. Was that caught? It might have been. Yes, it was a catch. Graham Weidenhofer. Or check that. That's number 37, Gabriel Starks.
So Gabe Starks, first catch of the season. Just a sophomore.
And how about the effort of him to go down and get that low throw?
Well, in the sideline reaction, too, you can definitely tell everybody was pulling for him as some of that second team getting in there for Carroll, getting their first opportunities of the season.
And Wayne now running guys onto the field. Derek Rolls-Marquette comes into the game. Rolls-Marquette is a junior.
Under 2 minutes now, too.
Williams goes to the sideline, and that is knocked down. That could have easily been picked. That was Flanagan, the 6'5" wide receiver / DB.
Say, if you're ever unsure of Christian Flanagan's athletic ability, the size scares you enough, but the jump there and the ability to get up and block that one down, even scarier.
You just can't help but wonder how many jump balls is he going to get down on the low block when basketball season comes around.
Well, I know Coach Pickens is very excited for that.
By the way, Wayne's boys basketball team, they, I believe, went 11-12 last year in Coach Pickens' first season as the Generals head coach.
Yeah, they were definitely around that 500 mark, had a lot of impressive close games as well.
Tossed to the far side, or rather the near side. And that's taken out of bounds by Nelson, and that's probably going to be the final play of the game as Carroll is going to go to 7-2 for the regular season, and then they will take the week off and await to play Warsaw. That looked like a signal for a penalty, but it might be moot point. The clock, is down to 0. No more flags on the play. The game is over. Carroll is your winner. And they go to 7-2 on the regular season. We'll be right back in just a moment to wrap things up here on SummitCitySports.com.
There are tons of benefits to using compression therapy, but my favorite are speeding up muscle recovery, reducing swelling and inflammation, and improving my athletic performance.
Well, your final score, the Carroll Chargers a winner over the Wayne Generals. And before we recap this game, we'll get one more word in from our sponsors at Parkview Sports Medicine. At Parkview Sports Medicine, it is game on. We are the region's largest integrated sports medicine team, providing athletes with specialized services from improving their performance to recovering from injuries. To learn more, go to parkviewsportsmedicine.com. Well, a good showing tonight for the Carroll Chargers. 4 touchdown passes. Actually, it might have been 5 touchdown passes for Jeff Becker, but either way, a solid night for him. He plays 2.5 quarters, you might say, as they got to the running clock situation. Also ran for a touchdown. A solid night put together by this talented junior quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. A great bounce-back game for Jeff Becker after the shaky game against Concordia. They still got the win. Good finish for Carroll. They finished on a 2-game win streak, and really what the most important thing is that offense is finally starting to look balanced. We saw early in the season the focus on the attack through the air. Now as we've worked into the later season, some closer matchups, but that run game is really starting to come in its own, and Luke Carmody, they may have found their running back this season.
Yeah, I was about to say, you can't really say enough about what Luke Carmody did tonight, really helping Carroll to balance things out with that solid running game.
Yeah, over 100 yards on the ground, picked up the touchdown there late. We talked about it, well-deserved. But the thing for Carmody is he doesn't do anything crazy special, just sticks to the ball on the ground, keeps it in possession. It's the biggest thing at the high school level, and then follows his blockers in. You'll see him a lot of the time following that right or left tackle to perfection, really, around the outside.
Well, playoffs are coming up next. Carroll, they get the week off next week, and then they start 6A playoffs by taking on Warsaw. And then Wayne, they will play next week. They're scheduled to play Huntington North in Class 4A.
Well, I know we talk about with Wayne a 1-8 season to finish the regular season, but a little bit of a different level of competition in the NE8 compared to the SAC here. I think Wayne's seen some tougher teams this season, and I think if they can stay healthy, obviously dealt with some injuries in tonight's game, If they can stay healthy, travel to Huntington North, and they may be able to make some noise in that sectional.
Of course, Coach Sherwood Haydock coming over from the East Allen County School District where he coached at Woodland, coming over here to coach at Wayne. And it is his first year, so you got to wonder, perhaps some good things to come. I mean, Coach Haydock, he's been through the rebuilding phase, obviously got Harding to semi-state and then to state a couple of years later, took Woodland to semi-state also. So he certainly knows what the rebuilding process is like and what it means to eventually build a championship-caliber team.
Plenty of postseason success for Coach Haydock, and obviously no stranger to the rebuild process. It took him a while at Harding before ultimately winning that state championship in 2006, and then 2017 at Woodland, lost at state. So plenty of postseason success. Generals, I know, are for sure excited about that one. And like I said, I think they can still make some noise in that sectional. And then you mentioned Carroll as well. That matchup against Warsaw, maybe a little closer than people might think coming into it. Warsaw likes to put the ball on the ground and really try to control the time of possession. Carroll, meanwhile, obviously we know they're a very pass-happy offense. We're going to see how those two sides clash. I think Carroll probably still the favorite at this point in that matchup against Warsaw. I know the Tigers just with the one loss on the season, so they've seen some good competition as well. Up north, I think that's going to be a great matchup. And then the one that everyone's kind of excited for, potentially we could see depending on the Snyder-Homestead outcome, is that Homestead and Carroll eventual rematch.
Could be Homestead versus Carroll. Could be Carroll versus Snyder. They've played in the postseason each of the last 2 years, Carroll and Snyder have. But we shall see how that develops. That's going to do it from here at Wayne High School. For Balin Height and our camera operator, Brandon Porter, this is Thad Goff saying so long from Wayne High School. You've been watching high school football on SummitCitySports.com.
I choose to do whole body cryotherapy after practices, games, and training. It reduces inflammation in my muscles and allows me to move more agile throughout my profession. I became a believer in iCryo after my severe injury in college at Notre Dame, tore my ACL, and I was looking for ways to recover, ways to get back on the field. So I'm thankful for iCryo.